Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. It's Murph, it's Sam, it's Thursday, and you know what that means? It's time for the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series, and tonight, it's Talladega, Sam.
It's class reunion time. This is where all the people that disappeared for a long time reappear all of a sudden out of nowhere and say, "We can do this."
It is, and we're not talking about the party in the infield, ladies and gentlemen. 23 cars are signed in, and
it's a great turnout.
Yeah, it's a great turnout for the AMA. We've got a big night here on P1. Jacob Collins live with the IndyCar Pro qualifiers, doing the official iRacing broadcast on the other side, making Sam and I look like the B crew.
Oh, I will. I've always been the B crew. I'm still surprised that you've let me come tag along all year long. I'm really surprised.
You know what, Sam? You're more than welcome to my booth anytime. Talladega, funnily enough, is a track that I have not been to in life. My parents have, my brother has, but I did not make that trip.
I've been there so many times.
So what's it like, Sam?
It is. It's the essence of Southern NASCAR racing. Honestly, it is just. It's nostalgic, just in the scope of its history. It is enormous because you just don't think about how big it is until you get there. It is hot as a firecracker in the summertime. It is a party central in the infield, and if you get offended easily, don't go down the airstrip. It's a really good weekend. It's a great place for camping, actually, too. There's a dirt track across the way from there. They put on a good show with the dirt track racing. So it's a great place to go watch an event.
You know, it most certainly is. This track, as Sam mentioned, built on the site of an old Air Force, airfield, more or less. The bones of the facility, and you can see it if you look. You can see it. That main strip that runs down through the infield. That's a runway, and that's the cornerstone of the facility. It was selected to be built here because it is exactly halfway between Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia, and so they put it right between those two population centers. The track also has major internet access. Built in 1969, the first race here, Sam, drew a boycott, didn't it?
Oh yes, it did, and it was quite the scandal that the drivers were wanting to come together to look at maybe unionizing themselves and becoming more structured in their unification. And NASCAR wasn't going to have a whole lot to do with that.
They did not. NASCAR decided that they were going to use replacement drivers, and Richard Brickhouse was the winner of that first Talladega race, and it kind of started a tradition, Sam. Talladega has played host to more first-time winners than any other track in big-time NASCAR racing, starting with Richard Brickhouse, 1969. It is a place where many a driver have won their first race, and for a lot of those drivers, it was their only win. Name that immediately comes to my mind, Bobby Hillin. One race only, Talladega. I believe Phil Parsons got his only win here. A lot of names have won their only race. Ron Bouchard. A lot of named drivers have won their only race in Talladega, and normally that happens in the old Winston 500 weekend, which is that's the fall race, right, Sam?
Yes, sir.
That is the fall race, and that's the big one. It is one of the crown jewels of stock car racing. It used to be the Big Four, and then when Indianapolis came along, they made it the No Bull 5, which was Daytona the richest, Talladega was the fastest, Charlotte was the longest, Darlington was the oldest, and what they call Indianapolis the most historic, even though the purse was triple Daytona.
Yeah. Well, how can it not be historic with it being Indianapolis? Talladega is also the last, I believe it's the last win for Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Most certainly was.
Last win.
Yeah, the iconic, come on, Kenny, hit me race, right?
Yep. Yeah, oh yeah, coming back from 10th or 11th in the closing laps and taking the event. That was an iconic memory for all the Dale Earnhardt Sr. fans. It was It was quite the race to watch.
It most certainly was. Joe Nemechek holds the track record here for the Xfinity Machines 48.695. That was set in 2018. The outright track record 46.530 for competition. That would be Parker Klingerman. However, that is not the outright track record, is it, Sam?
I'm sure it's probably some kind of jet car that you're going to pull out of your pocket here. Tell me that.
It won't be a jet car. It was AJ Foyt in the Oldsmobile Aerotech set a world closed course speed record here at Talladega. The Aerotech was basically a mid-'80s March IndyCar chassis fitted with a Oldsmobile V8, and he reached speeds upwards of 200 and he reached speeds over 220 miles an hour here, which isn't too shabby considering that car was being driven in the mid-'80s.
So what was the lap time?
Give me a second and I will look it up.
I'd be interested in that.
While we do that, we're gonna show the practice speeds. And Sam, I don't think you need three guesses. Practice here at Talladega is not that big of a deal, right?
No,
you can't really.
Not. It really isn't.
You can't read much into the speeds. However,
right.
I'll give you three guesses as to who's at the top of the chart, Sam.
Well, you really have to have a hunger to want to be on top of the speed chart in the practices, because it's a matter of falling into the right draft at the right time and getting a big run so that you can post a good speed. And so apparently Ryan O'Donoghue just liked his name being at the top of the speed charts, and that's exactly where it is tonight. He found the right pack at the right situation and pulled in from behind and got that fast speed here. But it's incredibly how close it is to Justin Osterman's speed.
It is indeed. Do want to put the lid on the Oldsmobile Aerotech. The internals were a March '85C Indy car. It doesn't give the Talladega speed, but the car itself did a measured mile at 267.399 miles an hour. Top speed of 275 miles an hour in the flying mile. The closed course record was in the 220s, if I remember right. But Wikipedia does not give it, and I don't have time to go look it up. So, there you go.
Time, that is.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of time.
Give me the speed again.
267 miles an hour.
Wow, that's
in the flying mile.
Fast.
It is indeed. And speaking of fast, Sam, it's getting on time for qualifying.
Is it really?
Let's
bring it on. Whose car are we going to jump into? Let's jump into Say Hey Lewis Hayes' car.
Let's go look at Say Hey Lewis Hayes. There he is, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, pulling out onto the racetrack. I do appreciate everybody's patience. I've been having some PC issues, and we're waiting on Trading Paints to load. And so we'll jump on board with Say Hey Lewis Hayes here. This is as we ride shotgun with Say Hey Lewis Hayes. This is pretty simple making a qualifying run here at Talladega, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of just staying on the bottom. Well, you want to generate speed. That's why you're seeing Say Hey keeping the car at the top on his out lap here. You just want to generate some speed and allow yourself to cover as much asphalt as you can before you begin your timed lap. That's why you're seeing him at the top here. And then once he starts to work on his timed lap, which is the second lap's probably going to be the fastest.
Absolutely.
Or if I got it backwards. Yeah, no, I think it's the second lap here that's the fastest.
Yeah, it's the second lap. Essentially you use the first lap just to build up.
I always get it confused with Daytona. Daytona's the first lap. Talladega's the second lap.
Yeah, you want to use as much real estate as possible on that first lap, just to get momentum built up. It takes a lap or so just to get these cars wound all the way out. So you're not really quite at speed when you get to the start finish line on that first lap. And so You don't see Say Hey Lewis Hayes using the full width of the speedway. He's just very kind of calmly making his way down, and he's going to get right down to the bottom line, right down to the yellow line, through the tri-oval, and he will not vary from that yellow line. The goal is to get as close to it as possible, Sam.
Everything that you have, you want to make sure that you keep those tires glued to the line. Steering input in iRacing is incredibly important. Now he washes up a little bit. I would have stayed down on that line even on the back, but steering input is very important because any wheel movement whatsoever at this track will cost you lap time. It's always important to keep a steady wheel in both the corners and even on the straightaways, because the car will have a tendency to want to wander. And I know why Lewis chose to go the middle down the back stretch. Is just simply the steering wheel input. A little less input that he's steering to keep it down on the bottom yellow line. He'll cut a little bit of the track off here coming down through the tri-oval and come across.
The lap time for Say Hey Lewis Hayes, 54.494. That is going to put him second quick. Great lap for Lewis Hayes. Let's see if we can't get with Eric Corder. Now that is the A1 Alabama Key Machine, and that car bears a striking resemblance, Sam, to the Darrell Walter Western Auto Machines of yore.
And whose car are we in now?
We're looking at Eric Corder, Alabama Key on the side of that vehicle. Mike Rigney, the Onyx Racing League, has joined us, Sam. Always a loyal follower of the AMA.
Colors together are always so iconic. Orange, black, white. It reminds you of the Harley Davidson brand also. And you think of the dirty Mopasi paint schemes when you see color combinations like that.
You do indeed. I always think of Darrell Waltrip and Western Auto, but there are quite a few other iconic orange, black, and white machines. Eric Corder slowing on his cool down lap, and I don't see, Sam, anybody else.
That's a great lap. We were on board with Lewis Hayes, and what a fantastic lap that was. That was fantastic for Lewis. He'll be on the front row, it looks like.
Yes, it was. Now, do want to point out, Sam, as we get to the grid here, I do want to point out something to our viewers at home, and that is this. We saw Ryan O'Donoghue at 190 miles an hour for his practice speed, right, Sam? We are not.
As far as entry speed?
As far as total speed, it was 190 something miles an hour for a lap. Kendall Paul grabs the pole at 175.519 miles an hour. 15 miles an hour is the difference between a draft and a no draft. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is going to take the outside pole. Sam, I had talked to Mike Rigney earlier. I said, Say Hey Lewis Hayes is my dark horse to win this race. Knock on wood, no broadcaster's curse. But I like Say Hey Lewis Hayes tonight. Greg Evans is going to go from third. Joshua Siegfried will roll fourth. David Dunwoody is going to start fifth. He will have the black flag here this evening. John Hutchins is going to go from sixth. Vance Fisher, Mason Malure, seventh and eighth. Jeffrey Height, Robert Smith. They're going to round out the top 10. In 11th, Dylan Godinez, Keith Graham, Sean Roberts, James Hodgson, and Corey Palermo back to the 15th starting spot. And then we have Crash Neon. What a name for Talladega, Sam. Crash. He's going to go from 16th. And Eric Corder, Matt Sisler, Ryan O'Donoghue, and Sean Merriman round out the top 20. Interesting to note, with Matt Sisler, drivers stopped taking time. In 21st, Troy Carricker, Justin Osterman, 22nd. Michael Kirk will go from 23rd. Then Jeremy Dunwoody and Donald Green will round out your starting field here at Talladega. And Sam,
great field.
Yes,
Good
it
turnout.
is. It is a wonderful field. And Sam, I can't help but wonder how wild this is going to get, especially around those stage breaks. We're at 94 laps tonight. That's going to mean stages at 25 and 50. I wonder how crazy it's going to be coming to get those stages.
This race is probably, well, drivers, they really refer to it in a lot of ways. They'll refer to it as a wild card. They'll refer to it as unpredictable. A coin flip, because you really don't know exactly how the race is going to play out with so many drivers in an event like this at this racetrack. Sometimes drivers will be very conservative. Some other drivers will be exceptionally aggressive, and because of that unpredictability, it leaves not just the drivers, but it leaves the viewers in a. That's why these races are so exciting. Is because of that very fact, is that there's just so many question marks about who's going to do what, when it's going to happen, and waiting for the catastrophe that is on the brink at any moment.
You are absolutely right, Sam, about the catastrophe that can happen at any moment. I wanted to say that it's good to see that they've paved the backstretch here. For whatever reason, the crash with Davey Allison sliding across the grass back there and hitting the embankment back before there was a fence there.
Elliott Sadler.
Yeah.
Elliott Sadler's flip going into 3.
There have been some wild ones here. Wasn't that the one where Elliott Sadler got out of the car and took a bow?
Mm-hmm.
I
was at that race. I've never heard more people screaming, terrified screaming, than that wreck. And I've been to several at that racetrack, and people making noises, but not screaming. Not women just literally screaming that he had died. It was that violent of a crash.
I do remember that he got out and took a bow. Of course, the Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt Sr. incident here that led to many a different.
We're getting ready to go green here, Mark.
Many a different thing. We are ready to go green, though. We are underway. 94 laps here at Talladega. Kendall Paul leads them down. Let's get it, Sam.
Oh, let's do it. Buckle up, pull those bike belts tight, and let's see what unfolds here in the AMA Talladega.
Already we've got one car coming off a pit road. That is Mason Malure, and he is going to lose the draft. David Dunwoody, his black flag has been cleared, and so Dunwoody is no longer under the thumb of the officials.
Already we see somebody going to the back of the field here, just dropping back and getting out of the way. The reason you'll see this early on and why you saw so many cars that did not take lap times is because, again, drivers have such a different approach to this racetrack. Some drivers think that their only goal is they want to be up front. They want to dictate their race and run up front and feel like being in that position in the front of the field is the safest for them. Other drivers prefer to be in the back and just kind of let things unfold, and they're hoping to miss the big one. And then everyone in between is trying to get to either the front or the back. So it's really just a driver's prerogative of how they want to approach this race and utilize the opportunities that they may have if they have teammates. And I know that we have quite a few teammates in this race.
They are indeed, and what they want to do, everybody's following their own agenda, Sam. Already, we've seen several drivers really get into two defined groups. You've got Mr. Excitement back here. That's Justin Osterman in the 53. He is 18th. But then you've got some cars that are hanging out behind him. That would include Jeremy Dunwoody, who's in the 22 machine. Ryan O'Donohue is back here. He's almost out of the draft, Sam. And then Donald Green is even further back from him. Those guys are just hanging out. They're trying to avoid what's coming.
Oh yeah, they're not wanting to get involved in any shenanigans that may happen early in this race. And let's give a shout out to our pole sitter Kendall Paul, who's been a fixture in all of these races and worked his way up to where he is this season in the AMA, and that he won the pole position. And he's dictating the pace even now. Kendall Paul's wanting to get this victory.
He most certainly is. And the reason he wants that victory, Sam, we are deep into the season. We've only got one more race in this round of playoffs. Greg Evans, he's got his win. He's punched his ticket to the next round. Ryan O'Donoghue, Kendall Paul, Dylan Godinez, the top 4 in points. On the outside, looking in, Justin Osterman, James Hodgson, David Dunwoody, and John Hutchins. Those drivers are looking to make something happen tonight. And look at that inside line. You've got Kendall Paul. He's got David Dunwoody pushing him, and they've got Vance Fisher right behind. And to be fair, Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody, they are working together. Those are 2 team cars that are looking to make some noise here, Sam.
Oh, well, while you're mentioning that, Lewis Hayes and Greg Evans actually have a history of racing together in some other venues, and so I would not doubt if Lewis Hayes wouldn't attach himself to Greg tonight and just try to work with him as a teammate, which really works because I don't know that Greg necessarily has any other teammates within the confines of the field, but I know that he has history with Lewis Hayes, and Lewis Hayes being a solo team here as well, it would only make sense that these two would try to stick together and make a race of it.
Now, they are not working together in the Discord channels. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is by himself, as is Ryan O'Donoghue. Now, I will say this, that doesn't mean, whoa, we've got trouble in the mid-pack.
The backstretch.
We've got one car spinning.
Pushed a little too hard, and now we've got one careening down the backstretch. No caution.
No caution. That is Crash Neon, and that is going to hurt Ryan O'Donoghue. Ryan O'Donoghue may have lost the draft here, Sam. He is over 1.4 seconds behind.
Oh my heavens!
The pack,
we're
and we're
checking up. Trying to pick out who that was.
But we're
that Donald Green?
Let's get back here and check it out, Sam.
Donald Green's in the back, but I think they were checking up so much, and someone got into the back of, it looks like Justin Osterman, and that Osterman got in the back of whoever was in the front of him, and he careened down and hit crash.
Yeah,
people were checking up.
People are checking there, and here's what you got, Sam. And it's very difficult to find the right angle on the backstretch here at Talladega. But
that was my issue. I'm not able to see car numbers.
Yeah, you've got Justin Osterman, and you got Justin Osterman in the top line. He gets in the back. Well, he gets in the back of James Hodgson. They all checked up for the 09 and that led to James Hodgson.
It's Palermo. Corey Palermo is the one that gets into the back of Osterman. Osterman gets in the back of Hutchins or James Hodgson, and then Hodgson comes down and collects Crash Neon, and so it was Corey Palermo. I could not see his car number. They were checking up a lot there, and so
they were. James Hodgson is going to come out the best of all that. He got kicked down in a Crash Neon. Neon spins to the inside. Ryan O'Donoghue does a great job of avoidance. He didn't hit anything, but he's lost the draft, Sam. And he's all.
There's so much unpredictability when you're running like that, and you see cars spinning all over the racetrack, or you see a lot of smoke in front of you. You're not sure if a car's going to come back up or another car's going to come down, and so you're out of the gas. And that, of course, the preeminent result of that is that you're going to lose time on the racetrack, and that's why you're seeing Ryan O'Donoghue running solo now.
He is running solo. There is a group that has detached themselves from the front runners. That is James Hodgson, Donald Green, and Sean Merriman. They are about 4 seconds off the lead, more like 4 seconds off the lead pack. There are now 18 cars in that lead pack, and I think James Hodgson is going to pull over and let the other two go. He has some severe damage to the front of that Ford, and he better be careful. He's going to lose them, Sam. They went by him in a hurry, but he should be able to suck back up behind him. Ryan O'Donoghue, there he is, and Crash Neon, and there's Neon just now coming through the tri-oval. Those two cars have completely lost the draft, and so they're going to be hoping for a caution before the stage. If they have to wait 10 to 15 laps, they are not going to be on the lead lap when the caution falls, Sam.
Well, the thing is you don't want to give up hope too soon. You never know what's going to happen as far as another incident or another caution coming out or the stage break. When it gets here, if you could just keep running laps in hopes that you can have some consistent times, then you may not go a lap down because the track is so big. However, if you do go a lap down, you want to be that first one in that position for the lucky dog.
You do. Now they are losing about 3.5 seconds a lap, so do keep an eye on that. Greg Evans has gone to the front. He's led his lap,
Yep.
and now he is.
And I think he and Lewis Hayes both. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think he and Lewis Hayes both have made the decision to pull to the back of the field. Lewis Hayes went to the high side. Greg Evans went to the low side, and Greg Evans is doing exactly what he said in his post-race win last week. In his interview, he says you look for the two to go, maybe lead a lap and then go to the back of the field, and that's exactly what he's doing.
That makes perfect sense. David Dunwoody pushes Kendall Paul back to the front. They have Vance Fisher lined up behind them. Dylan Godinez, John Hutchins, and Matt Sisler, along with Troy Carricker, they're going to the front on the top. And then you've got the 83. That is Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and he is trying to work his way toward the rear of the field, back to find Greg Evans. Now, I said they weren't working together in Discord. That doesn't preclude them from having a channel in game. And so that may,
or having some kind of alternate means of communication.
Right. They could have two soup cans and a rope for all we know, Sam.
It would be a stretch from North Carolina to South Carolina, but yeah, it's always a possibility.
I mean, they could have two soup cans and a string. It's possible. At any rate, I don't think that they're wrong in betting on another caution. Look at this mess. I mean, we've got 16 cars now, really under a blanket at the front of this field.
18 really. You were right the first time. There's 18 cars in that pack.
There are, although Greg Evans and Say Hey Lewis Hayes have gone to the back of it, and so.
Oh, Kendall Paul, way out of shape right there.
Yes, he was. He gets kicked out of line, and that means we're going to have a scrap for the lead. They're 3 wide for second. Troy Carricker on the top, Dylan Godinez on the bottom, and then Kendall Paul, Matt Sisler, and Corey Palermo. They're 3 wide for second. Now they're going to get single file or double file again at least. Godinez leads the bottom. David Dunwoody pulls up behind his buddy Kendall Paul, and John Hutchins and Joshua Siegfried trying to make a rally on the top, make it 3 wide, Sam.
There's already been some drivers that have been kind of looking at that third lane early, but it's way, in my opinion, going 3 wide this early is just a dangerous proposition for a race. If you want to be here at the end, you don't want to take unnecessary chances early in the event. And so I've been surprised to see that some drivers are wanting to make that materialize early. But as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, you're going to find some that are very aggressive in these races, and they're willing to take the chances. Robert Smith, the reason I was making groaning noises, I did not think Robert Smith was going to be able to make it back up off the apron on the backstretch. He was sneaking under the bottom side of Sean Roberts, and I didn't know if Roberts was going to give him room. It looked like another catastrophe just waiting to happen. So that was why I was making those groaning noises on the backstretch.
Meanwhile, the other thing kind of to keep an eye on, somebody has wore the rear bumper on the car of Jeffrey Hyatt completely out. It's numbered 0 on the car. It's number 10 in the scoring pylon. But somebody has wore the rear bumper of that thing completely out. Dylan Godinez and Kendall Paul now do battle for the lead. It's Dunwoody, it's David Dunwoody, Vance Fisher, and then the brother Dunwoody, Jeremy. He is 4th in line on the bottom. Dylan Godinez, Troy Carricker, Matt Sisler, and Corey Palermo, they make up the top row, and they've got Joshua Siegfried in attendance. Sean Roberts has pulled up on the inside behind Jeremy Dunwoody, and they've got the 09 of Keith Graham coming along there too, Sam. So the front, let's say the front 14 really still under that blanket. Greg Evans, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Eric Corder, Greg Evans, Now Jeffrey Hyatt, Eric Quarter, Say Lewis Hayes, they've all gone out back now, Sam, and they're no longer contesting that lead. And we've got another situation brewing, and you know what that is, Sam?
Cool. No, I'm just kidding. What?
The situation we've got brewing is they're about 2 laps away from catching Crash Neon.
And Crash really was the one to receive the worst of that incident on the back stretch when there was no caution. He was the one car that careened down to the bottom of the racetrack, and what a fantastic job of driving that he did, not to really hit anything and receive a lot of body damage or wheel damage. But the tires are probably got a little heat in them, and being by himself, it's just he's a sitting duck. But in his defense, the next driver is well down the racetrack, Ryan O'Donoghue, and I don't know if these drivers are going to be able to catch Ryan O'Donoghue before the end of the first stage.
Yeah, it's another 15 seconds up the road to Ryan O'Donoghue. We're on board with David Dunwoody, and look at this action. Dunwoody runs up and gives Kendall Paul a shot. Dylan Godinez on the outside. We'll jump in with Troy Carricker. Dunwoody is aggressively pushing Kendall Paul. I don't know that Carricker is doing the same for Dylan Godinez.
Yeah, I don't think that he's getting the same kind of initiative with Carricker behind him, but I do expect Dylan Godinez. This is where I think that he wants to run for the rest of the night. I think the 08 has really just had a up and down season, tough go at it in some instances, but he's been faithful. He's stuck it out here, and I think that this kind of racing fits his particular skill set. You were talking about Lewis Hayes earlier. Lewis Hayes, and I've said this before, but Lewis Hayes and another gentleman that I know named John Vambarelis are 2 of the best speedway racers that I've ever had the courtesy and privilege of racing with. I don't know what it is about these races that suits their driving style so well, but they really are. They really are good at what they do when it comes to the super speedways. So I don't think your pick is very far off the mark when you're trying to include Lewis Hayes.
They're patient, and the word I use is laconic, right? Mm-hmm. They've got the right temperament for it too. You can get very impatient in these things and start pushing and shoving, and it's those drivers.
I think to me, it's the decision making. I think the decision making is one of the most important things in these races. And I'm not disagreeing with what you say. All of that applies, but when to go, when not to go, what line to take, how to get to that position, where those things all come into play. I think that a lot of the strategy of it comes into focus as well.
It most certainly does. We saw Crash Neon stay to the outside. He would be in the lucky dog spot, and they've got another 10 seconds to get to Ryan O'Donoghue. So it's going to be...
It'll be close.
It'll be close for Ryan O'Donoghue. We are coming to get lap number 20. Now, we're not going to have to wait. We're not going to have to wait a full lap today to get that stage caution, Sam. It's like we did last week. It's going to hit at more or less just as soon as they cross the line with the pack as close as they are. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. You are watching P1 broadcasting coverage of the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series from the American Motorsports Association, the AMA. If you haven't already done
that one last circuit, I think that one, they come to the line and take lap 25, and then it's the next circuit before they throw the caution.
Yeah, they're going to get to Ryan O'Donoghue, I think.
That's what I'm saying. I think that last circuit is going to put him in a position for the lucky dog.
Now, the situation with that is Crash Neon is not only is he a lap down, but he has latched on to that group, and that's going to put him in a much better position than Ryan O'Donoghue. Just for the fact that O'Donoghue is going to have to get passed by the train, and Crash Neon's already in the he's already in the train. So we're going to have to continue to watch this. There's no guarantee, by the way, that any of this makes it to lap 25. As you see these drivers 2 by 2, just like the start of this.
That's well said.
There's no guarantee this thing makes it to lap 25, Sam.
That's well said. You got to throw that card into the mix. That's for sure.
As close as they are, it's just you know it's coming. It's not an if it's coming, it's when. We saw the Daytona races here in the AMA. Both of those featured multiple accidents on the last lap and at stages. And we're hoping that this one's a little bit cleaner, but it can happen at any time. It only takes one bobble from one of the cars in those first 3 rows, and it's going to wipe out. It'll wipe out 15 in the drop of a hat.
I agree with you. I don't think people take into consideration how much these cars move around. If you pay close attention to these cars in the corners or even on the straightaways, you'll see them just slightly weaving back and forth, moving. Look at the lines. They're not perfectly straight. You see the cars weaving back and forth, and that's all the air that's packing around these cars and requiring them to put in different steering input. Then we almost had a crash right there at the front of the field. They are not perfectly slot car straight.
They're not.
There is a lot of movement,
and a lot of that movement is involuntary. And I'm with Mike. I'm with Rigney. I'm not a big fan of these plate races either. Driving them, they're amazing to watch. Don't get me wrong. I do not like driving them. Just for the simple fact that I don't feel like you've got a lot of control over your own destiny. Mm-hmm. But at the flip side, he's absolutely right that it can be a ton of fun if you've got the right group together. And now that Pack has caught Ryan O'Donoghue, he's going to come up.
Oh, and they're looking 3 wide right here with a lap car?
Yeah, they're going to have to get back in line on that top side.
Yeah, they're going to have to rethink that.
They most certainly are. O'Donoghue's going to stay to the top side, and that's about 15 to 20 miles an hour of speed differential. Now, O'Donoghue is going to have to race Crash Neon. He's going to have
to fall in here really quick.
Yeah, he's going to need to do it. He's going to do it, and now he's going to have to race Crash Neon for this lucky dog spot. And so that's going to be a story we'll follow, but we're also going to need to follow, Sam, we're also going to need to follow the front of this field because we're getting down to show and tell time for the stage.
Yes, sir. And now what you were saying earlier is you got these drivers trying to race for stage points, but also Ryan O'Donoghue's on that top side, and he can see Crash Neon to his left. He can see him just ahead and to his left. I don't know if Ryan had damage or what, but he's falling well off the pave and not pulling up on that car, that 0 car that has the damage on the right side. I thought that Crash may be damaged enough to prevent Ryan, but Ryan just falls into the very back of this pack.
Maybe he figures that it's not, maybe he just figures there's going to be 2 stages. As long as he doesn't get kicked out of the pack in the second one, he's going to be in good shape. Meanwhile, Dylan Godinez comes in line. He will lead lap 25. We're coming to lap 25. We've got
one more time by
in the stage. You are watching the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from the AMA on P1. Mark Murphy, Sam Crow. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video. Ring the bell, subscribe to P1, and be notified of all future iRacing action. We've got dueling streams tonight, Sam. The IndyCar Thrustmaster qualifying series for the Pro Series is live over on the other stream. Jacob Collins calling that one. He got called up, Sam. He was going to do the second split. iRacing called us and asked him if he could do the first. So huge.
What a big deal. That iRacing the call and ask that. That's really cool. And now we're under caution after the first stage.
It did not take an extra lap, Sam. Kendall Paul is the winner of the stage. I believe David Dunwoody is going to be credited with second, Dylan Godinez third, then Sizzler, Carricker, Palermo, Fisher, Robert Smith, Jess Osterman, Sean Roberts are going to be the remainder.
Well, the only reason I say it takes an extra lap is because they actually take that flag at the completion of, or at the beginning of lap 26. So that's why I say that.
Right. Well, and you also got to remember that it's 25 complete, right? So it's coming to get 20.
Yeah.
It's coming to get 26. Yep. The counter is one lap ahead. It starts with 1, right? So
right.
It's one lap ahead. It's 25 completed laps, and there is your stage winner, Kendall Paul. Crash Neon is going to get the lucky dog. I don't believe that hurts Ryan O'Donoghue as much as we think, Sam, because he's the only car a lap down.
Right.
His strategy was to ride around in the back anyway. He knows there's going to be another caution in the shortest stage, right? He's only going to have to go 20 laps here. He's going to get another one. He'll just take the second lucky dog, and it really doesn't matter until about 10 to 15 to go anyway, does it?
It really doesn't. And now if you're watching the broadcast and you're seeing cars stopping on the racetrack, they're just waiting for the pace car to catch the field.
Yes, they are.
So that they can come around, and I think they'll extend the caution here so that all the drivers can make sure that they can get reparations done.
Repairs.
And what you've been so good at pointing out to our viewers over the season, Mark, and you've done a great job this season, in my opinion, just talking about how certain racetracks afford these drivers to get more repair. And cars like Crash Neon, Jeffrey Hyatt, James Hodgson, those cars that were in that incident, they should be able to get a majority of optional repairs done because the caution laps are so long.
Yeah, they are. You can spend upwards, Sam, you can spend upwards of, what, 3 minutes doing a caution lap here?
Close.
And there's the pace car. It has finally captured Kendall Paul coming out of turn number 2. But the thing about that is, you've got a shot here. Crash Neon has gone around to collect his lucky dog. We're going to see pit stops this time. You get 2 bites at that apple too, Sam. Where you can, you'll come down here.
Well, quickie cautions. There are quickie cautions here.
There are, but still, you can still stop twice. Because pace car speed is what, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So you can make up, when it's a 3-minute caution lap, and I'll get a lap time for everybody. The first one was 2 minutes, but you can legitimately get 3 minutes of repair done here. And so that'll take care of pretty much any amount of body work you have, unless you've absolutely clobbered the wall.
Yeah, like Jeffrey Hyatt, who had extensive rear damage. I mean, something like that should be able to get repaired sufficiently. Crash Neon had a lot of right side damage. James Hodgson had a lot of left side damage. Provided something realistically damaged, those drivers too should be able to get all their optional repairs done under caution.
Yes, they should. Everybody has come down the pit lane. They are all going to take tires, fuel. I would assume most are going to affect whatever repair that they feel they need to do. There's Kendall Paul. He is got the right sides on already, coming to get the left. Say hey, Lewis Hayes pulls into his pit box. Away goes Kendall Paul, along with the rest of the field, and let's see who remains in the pit, Sam.
Well, it looked like Lewis Hayes was in there a little longer. Maybe he got some repairs done. Jeffrey Hyatt, who we've been calling out, James Hodgson, Corey Palermo, who had front end damage from that incident. All the cars that were involved in that backstretch incident, all of them are still sitting on the pit lane. Corey Palermo now is pulling off, as well as Jeremy Dunwoody. I don't know that he was involved, but those other 3 cars are still affording repairs. Now Jeffrey Hyatt is pulling off the pit lane, and you can see that the repairs to the back of that car, because the rear bumper was in a V shape, it was hit so hard, and now it's straightened out.
Yeah, he's had that thing worked on a little bit. They've got the hammers after it. James Hodgson, Crash Neon, Sean Merriman, they remain on the pit lane. All 3 of those cars got collected and had significant damage as a result of that bit of contact on the back. Of course, Neon and Ryan O'Donoghue got kicked out of the draft. O'Donoghue didn't get hit, but he wound up the loser because he was simply the one that was lapped last. These cars sit on pit road. Now, Crash Neon will leave. He was in his box 1:24 and 20 seconds. I believe James Hodgson is probably the most injured car out of all that. Because remember, he came down and he's the one that came down and walloped Neon. And then he got kicked back into the pack and hit again. And there he goes.
He's pulling off now.
Yeah.
But still, the front of that car is showing a lot of damage.
Well, and
he's pulling off because the pace car's coming, and he wants to get off the pit lane.
Yeah, he's going to have to come. He's going to have to come back and effect additional repair, Sam. The pace car has come across the pit lane.
They extended the caution by a lap.
Well, the lights are out on the pace car.
Yeah, so he won't be able to pit this time by.
No, he will.
That will signify a closed pit.
Yeah, the lights.
They did got a lot of left side damage repaired on the Hodgson machine, but the grill, the front splitter, all of that is still showing significant damage on the 88.
And there you go.
I don't know if these are James Hodgson's personal pets or not, but it's a very.
He did get a lot of it. He did get a lot of it fixed. You're right, but the front of that car is still caved in quite a bit, and so James is, he just needs to hang on, and he'll come back, and he's eligible. He's going to be eligible to get another, minute and 45 seconds, or excuse me, whatever it is. Under the next one, we know we're going to have another yellow in 20 laps, plus whatever additional yellow lights do come on, Sam. And again, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Do want to thank everybody for joining us here on P1. We've got a big crowd on hand tonight for the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. It's Murph, it's Sam Crow in the booth. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future broadcasting action. As we mentioned, Jacob Collins with the IndyCar Pro Series qualifier top split. That should be getting over, Sam, right about now. And so anybody joining us from that action, welcome. You're watching the Blackmagic Studios AMA Grand National Series. Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody, inside and outside, going to lead them. Row 2, that's Dylan Godinez on the inside. And Troy Carricker on the outside, Sam. It is so long from the time that pace car pulls off until you can go. It feels...
The anticipation is terrible.
It feels like an eternity now Barney gets the green flag and they can get back at it. Huge jump from Kendall Paul.
You've seen some of these drivers that are running up here at the front. Some of these drivers started in the very back of the field. Troy Carricker started, he's probably one of the highest movers we have. He started in 21st position. Matt Sisler started in the 18th position. Dylan Godinez started in the 11th spot. Sean Roberts in the 13th spot. These drivers have worked their way up through the field, even though they did not take a qualifying lap. And again, this is just how some drivers like to approach the race. They like to methodically move up through the field during the event.
They do indeed. You see David Dunwoody. He pulled out of line. He is going to the back. Kendall Paul now races with Matt Sisler, Sean Roberts, Dylan Godinez at the front. Troy Carricker and Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. They're going to make up row 3. And haven't Carricker and Osterman had their whoopsie-doos this year, Sam?
Osterman and flipsy-doos?
We don't call him Mr. Excitement for nothing, folks.
I was going to say, he's probably shared bowls of those with everybody. It sounds like a great racing cereal. Flipsy-doos.
Don't tell David Dunwoody that. He'll have boxes of whoopsie.
He'll have a paint scheme out there.
He'll have a paint scheme with whoopsie-doos. He'll probably put that on my car, too. That'll be the worst of it. Anyway.
Probably.
At any rate, Kendall Paul does lead the race. He has not suffered any whoopsie-doos today. Matt Sisler has made it to his outside. You've got Sean Roberts pushing Kendall Paul. Dylan Godinez is all over the back of Matt Sisler. You've got Troy Carricker now you got Troy Carricker now as Sean Roberts bails to the inside, and he's got Mr. Excitement lined up behind him. Greg Evans in third spot on that outside line.
Oh, that side draft by Dylan Godinez up there. Woo, there are some drivers that really like to do that, but I'm telling you, it is extremely dangerous to do that. It takes a lot of nerve to go down the straightaways and try to get that side draft, and then corners, it magnifies even more. Look how closely that outside line is hugging the inside line.
Yeah, Dylan Godinez is one of the best in the series at that side draft. And you can tell he's very practiced at it. Now, these cars do side draft. The trucks do side draft. The Cup cars, though, not so much, are they, Sam?
No, the Cup cars have a tendency to really deaden themselves down in the side draft. However, if you get the front of the Cup car to the right rear of a car, it slows it down considerably. Rather than propelling the car that's trying to pass on the outside, it really just kind of pulls the front car back. Greg Evans is now peeking back up at the front here. I guess he's decided he kept his word, went to the back of the field, and he's looking to get up here and get back to the front where he was earlier in the event.
Now, a lot of guys will hang out in the back, Sam, just for safety's sake. What was your thought? You don't want to be in the middle of the field for safety's sake. Is it better to be at the back or the front of this field?
Yeah, no, like Ryan O'Donoghue, I've always been one. I mean, my qualifying efforts are usually good at these racetracks, but it seems like the end results never work in my favor. It's probably in iRacing, it's probably my highest average finish is that Superspeedways. But me personally, I would just as soon like to run in the back and just let the race come to me, especially if there's green flag pit stops, because I feel as though the race is much more manageable for me if I can just keep the lead pack in tow and allow pit stops to separate a lot of us. And that's usually my approach is hopes that we'll get a lot of green flag racing. Pack racing, getting stuck in the middle, it's very difficult. If I'm in Matt Stifler's place where I'm at up front, I would hug the yellow line and stay there and just stay there. If I was running up front, I wouldn't be making any bold moves or doing anything crazy. I would just stay there as long as I could until they started doing overtakes on the outside. It's just I'm pretty simplistic when it comes to super speedway racing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sam. Unless I'm leading, I'd rather just be hanging out in the back. You almost know that you're guaranteed to have multiple cautions and multiple accidents at the end,
especially as the race goes on.
Yeah, and as guys get more desperate, Matt Sisler, he's not desperate. He's got that top spot, and he's got Kendall Paul lined up behind him. Matt Sisler
that push from Greg Evans.
Yeah, Greg Evans though.
Wow.
He senses safety at the front. Now Dylan Godinez is going to drive up there. He'll drop in front of Matt Sisler, and that's kind of how you have to do it, Sam. You've got to get a big push. Joshua Siegfried gives
Godinez is going to try and work both lines here. This is really difficult in these cars to work both lines.
It is, especially
up into the high line, and
especially if you don't have, especially if you don't have a spotter to tell you, Sam.
Dunwoody 3 wide in the back of the field because he goes under Corey Palermo. Oh my heavens, what a bold move that was!
Yeah, we saw that. They've got Sean Merriman now hung up on the top line. Troy Carricker, he's going to go to the top. That is Joshua Siegfried trying to elbow him out. And he's got some help. He's got John Hutchins and it appears to be Sean Merriman up there, Sam.
Now they're coming up on the 54, who's just coming off a pit road. Michael Kirk did not.
He didn't take the start.
Right. He was not here at the beginning of the event. He's 31 laps down, but he is coming out on the racetrack right now.
I was going to say it may be a short evening for Michael Kirk because he's 32 laps in arrears. So that means 25 laps, he's not even going to be able to make up. He can't make up any positions.
No positions.
Huh.
Greg Evans with these huge pushes on the high side off of turn 4. He's again. He's just trying to get, or he's giving Dylan Godinez these big runs. And David Dunwoody is just working this race all by himself. Now he's 3 wide on the high part of the racetrack.
Well, he had his
on the outside of Troy Carricker.
Whoa, Greg Evans!
Wide.
Greg Evans gets hit in the back. They're
4
wide down the
wide.
back. Troy Carricker goes
Carricker
up.
gets hit from behind by Palermo, and now he careens in front of the 2.
There is a big mess down the backstretch, and we are going to be under yellow. That's going to leave this man standing on his brakes, Ryan O'Donoghue, as the lucky dog. And that all started, Sam, with...
Dunwoody had this big run on the backstretch, and then he's 3 wide already. Greg Evans is backing out of it on the high side all the way to the wall. Dunwoody's trying to make room between between Evans and Carricker, and he bumps into Carricker. Carricker's trying to catch the car. Palermo slows down, or he runs into the back of the slowing down 94. The 94 collects the 2, and the 94 gets run over by the...
I think we've got to go back. I think we've got to go back
Wow.
a little bit before. Coming off of turn 2, Joshua Siegfried gets into the back of Greg Evans, and that's what triggers this whole thing. You're going to see Siegfried.
Oh, that little touch there. Yeah.
Well, you're going to see it because you see the bumper for Greg Evans with the dent right there. That slows Greg Evans down. And now Dunwoody has to take evasive action to not run over Greg Evans. And that's what starts the ping pong. And in the middle, eventually it is Corey Palermo that gets in the back of Troy Carricker. And that's when all heck breaks loose. John Hutchins, Jeremy Dunwoody involved. Hutchins hits Dunwoody again. Donald Green gets a piece of that, as does Jeffrey Hyatt. That was a wild ride for Troy Carricker, and we'll get on board with him. But that all started with contact from Joshua Siegfried.
Oh, Jeffrey Hyatt with a big impact.
That all started with contact from Joshua Siegfried to Greg Evans.
Right. Yeah, it kind of forced Evans up toward the wall, and then his slowed speed. And Dunwoody, with all that momentum that he was generating on the high side, just trying to stick it in between Evans and Carricker, and so that contact is just detrimental from that point on. I don't know that Carricker or even Hutchins maybe, or another car that will not make the rest of this event. That contact was immense.
Yeah, Troy Carricker has the meatball, as does Donald Green. I don't know about Greg Evans. Troy Carricker.
I think his damage is superficial.
Well, he's on pit lane, and there's the deuce. Sim Magic on the side of that machine, familiar colors. He's got a crinkle in the hood, Sam.
Called it a night, says that his night's over.
Well, and it's possible that it's just not worth sitting out the repairs, Sam. Especially, he's already punched his ticket to the next round of the playoffs. Why push a bad position, right?
Oh, I was saying Donald Green. Donald Green said that his night is over.
Oh, yes, Donald Green does have the meatball. Interested to see Greg Evans and how much repair he can make here as he sits on the pit lane. It appears as though they've got the hood more or less buckled down on that car now.
And there's still some right side damage to the car that you can clearly see. On the right front fender, the hood is buckled up. There is some aero issues here. If that damage stays the same, Troy Carricker is called it the night, taking his car behind the wall to the garage area. And now, tough night for Troy Carricker.
Now,
This is the unpredictability that you run into in these races, especially if you're wanting to make those big runs and you're wanting to get back up to the front of the field, and you never know what's going to happen ahead of you that you have to prepare for. I mean, Dunwoody doesn't know that Greg Evans has already been tapped in the rear. He doesn't know why he's slowing down. All he sees is the car up against the wall going slow, and he's just trying to fit himself in between that slow car and the pack. So it's it's just really difficult sometimes to see those things.
You know, it most certainly is. And for Greg Evans, he is going to get back out on the racetrack, even if it's not all fixed. Sam, at this point, you know there's going to be another stage here. Even if you've got another couple of minutes of damage, get back out on the racetrack. There's going to be another stage. You'll get a chance to get that fixed. And who knows? I had one of these here in the truck series where my truck at one point had 10 minutes of damage. And we'll talk about how that ended tomorrow night.
I know one recipient of all of these all of these shenanigans that have gone on the back stretch is Ryan O'Donoghue, and now the field needs to keep in mind that 14 car is back on the same lap with the rest of the field. So Ryan O'Donoghue, with his patience, has received.
Yeah, he got the lucky. Well, he knew he was going to get one of two, right? And so here's Ryan O'Donoghue. He's coming back onto the circuit. You see him rejoining the rear of the field. The car blinking in the middle is Corey Palermo. So we'll keep it.
Some discussion about his connection issues, but iRacing has software in place. If his connection becomes too much of a problem, he'll be parked for a little bit until those issues are cleared up.
Yes, and that is something that is very welcome by most competitors. In the community, there is nothing that is more frustrating, Sam, as you know, than a car that's blinking in front of you, especially at a track like this, because it affects that car being there or not being there affects you so much, especially at a place like this. Donald Green, sorry for your bad luck, man. He's had a string of it, Sam. As we get ready to come back to green flag action, it's going to be Kendall Paul leading Dylan Godinez, Joshua Siegfried, Sean Roberts, Osterman, and David Dunwoody.
They're checking up a lot. Robert Smith down to the apron. They're still checking up.
Yeah,
they're banging front to nose all in the back of the field.
Yeah, there's a huge stack up back here, and there's going to be a pretty big gap, Sam, in the back of this field.
That's going to separate a lot of this.
Yeah, it most certainly is. Michael Kirk has a black flag, and I'm interested to see just what in the world happened on this restart. It almost, I don't want to say it, Sam, but it almost looked like Robert Smith tried to go a little bit early, anticipated the green flag, and then had to get on the binders. Keith Graham kicks him out of line, and then everybody stacks up behind Keith Graham because Keith Graham still cannot pass Robert Smith. So that's how that all happened. For whatever, for better or for worse, it has really spread this field apart. Speaking of spread apart, look who's riding around back here 6 seconds off the 6 seconds off the pace, Sam. Ryan O'Donoghue.
You think he's just waiting for the last stage?
He knows there's going to be another mess here at some point, and there's no point in pulling that car all the way up to the front. And he also knows that there's not enough time for him to go a lap down in this stage, even if he loses the draft.
That's right.
It might be...
at this point, Ryan O'Donoghue, we don't know his race strategy. We're only guessing what it might be. But the truth of the matter is that when you have a night like this, you begin to think, is this how it's going to be all night long? You just really start questioning how the race is going to play out.
I'm not above saying that I have intentionally lost the draft before, Sam. In a situation like that, you're having a rough night. You're just trying to get it to the end. You're in a points deal. I think I'm just gonna stay in the back. And your teammate calls you on the radio and says, "Where are you?" I said, "Well, I'm half a lap down."
Yeah, he's actually, now that you're saying this, I do want to say Ryan O'Donoghue is actually sharing in communication that he's not going to push Jeffrey Hyatt because he has front end damage and he's in fear of the car running hot. So apparently, he's still dealing with damage from prior incidences, and that may be why he's falling off pace, is he just can't keep up.
Well, he can't keep up, or If he's still got front end damage, he doesn't want to blow the thing up. They can fix the front end.
And that's what he was telling Jeffrey Hyatt.
Yeah, you can fix the front end. You can't fix blowed up, Sam.
No, blowed up is blowed up.
blowed up means go home. We can fix the
blowed up.
Blowed up means it's blowed up. Anyway, we've got 5 laps to go. More trouble on the back.
We're getting in the front again.
That's Godinez. That's the 71 of Corey Palermo. Hard into the inside wall, both of those cars. Caution is on the speedway one more time, and Dylan Godinez.
Oh no!
One of our early contenders. He hit that sucker a ton.
Dunwoody is in another just precarious position here. He's right in the middle and catches the ranks of lines are closing in. Sean Roberts is on the outside, and that was a very small hole for the 28 to try to fit in, and he gets into the Roberts machine, and now it's just dominoes as it begins to affect other drivers around them.
It is. Here we go. David Dunwoody appears as though he's looking in the middle, and there is room there. Sean Roberts comes down to close the door, and chaos ensues. Siegfried involved. There's Palermo, Dylan Godinez, Dunwoody, and Sean Roberts come together. There's Sean Roberts. He's going to get the outside wall. Greg Evans sneaks by. And guess who is standing on his brakes one more time, looking at this thinking, my goodness sakes, boys. Here's what Ryan O'Donohue sees out of his right front suspension. This is going to be good, Sam. He's going to come off a 2, and they're wrecking down into turn 3, and he's thinking, man, I might get this car fixed yet. Just don't hit anything, right, Sam?
I'm sorry, I was listening to in-race communications.
Meanwhile, we're going to take the same view from David Dunwoody.
Yeah, there's some discussion about this being the
stage.
Yes, there's some discussion in regards to that. Just the timing of the incident, when the caution came out, what the rule book says in regards to within 5 laps. So there is some discussion going on about this being the end of the stage.
And if that's the case, normally speaking, Sam, they would run around just under caution with the pits closed.
Now the decision's made that this will be the stage break, which extends the last stage of this race by a few more laps.
So there's 2 ways.
No, now we're up to 4 caution laps here. So what they do is they actually run the stage out
under caution. Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I see that now.
Now the pits are closed here usually, yes. And so the penalty for that is tail end the longest.
Next time by.
Yeah, they've closed the pits. That doesn't matter to all these cars that are on pit lane that are getting repair. They will take that are under repair. They will take tail end of the longest line, Sam. Ryan O'Donohue doesn't care about tail end of the longest line. He wants his car fixed.
Yes.
But you are correct. So the pits were open when they came in? They had not yet closed them?
Well, now there's some penalties being handled out to Sean Roberts. Sean Roberts was given an EOL penalty. Corey Palermo was given an EOL penalty. I'm wondering if those drivers may have pitted.
Under a closed...
Yeah, I think inadvertently they may have started to pit, go into a closed pit due to the fact that it was the end of the stage. So there's just a lot of discussion going on in chat right now. Ryan O'Donohue was given an EOL. Sean Roberts was given an EOL. Jeffrey Hyatt was given an EOL. Greg Evans was given an EOL. Michael Kirk, of course, he had his cleared earlier.
Right, but that's the thing. I mean, they're in there repairing minute 50 worth of damage. Those guys don't care about end of longest line.
No, EOL doesn't matter. No, that's exactly right.
Right. If I'm Greg Evans and you're telling me I can get my car fixed completely, I'm gonna stop every time under this yellow, and I will take the end of the line. Right? Sean Roberts has gone a lap down. Everybody else now has made their way, Sam, back onto the racing surface. Of course, they'll have then the longest line penalty, as I kind of said earlier. But what's the difference? I mean, I would much rather have the minute and 55 seconds that I was able to repair my car. Ryan O'Donoghue incidentally said, was saying in the chat that he still had front end damage. He was worried about overheating. Sam, I'm looking at the front end of that car now. It looks pretty straight to me.
And you'll have to forgive me, Mark. I'm trying to catch up on the in-race communications. There's a lot of chatter going on right now, and just trying to find out exactly what's going on.
Oh, I'm sure there is. And we will let Sam do his duty there. Again, 48.
I won't do it. I won't do it. It'd be so unprofessional.
What did I do that was unprofessional this time?
Yeah. It was an old Animal House thing. You know, you said duty. Or no, actually, it wasn't Animal House. That was Caddyshack.
Oh, dear. At least I didn't blow the golf course up with dynamite trying to catch the gopher, right?
I think they're getting all of this sorted out. It's definitely going to jumble up the field. If the caution did not jumble the field up enough from the front, this, all of the red tape as far as the end of stage and penalties going out to certain drivers and things, all of that, it just adds to even more disruption of how the field's going to realign itself when we take on the last stint here.
Sure.
And it looks as though most drivers are going to have their repairs in effect. I think some are just trying to take as much time in the pit lane as they can. I think Corey Palermo and
Greg Evans and Corey Palermo came back, and I believe they would be done now. 53 seconds on Evans, 41 seconds on Palermo. So that would tell me they left well ahead of the pace car. That would tell me that they're done or close enough that they can get the rest of it in one more shot. Again, they're going to be.
Right, because they didn't stay the entire pace lap.
Right. That's why I'm also assuming that Ryan O'Donoghue, at 60 seconds, I'm assuming he is also done, or he's within one more. He's within a minute or so of being done. And again, if the penalty is in the longest line, I'm gonna get my car fixed, right? There's nothing.
Question.
Yeah, and that's a decision that you see guys in real life make all the time. Sam, is they'll pit under closed pit to get damage fixed, and they'll do that knowing the penalty, and they know they're going to be at the back anyway. There's no point. There's no point in not fixing it. Do want to thank everybody for joining us here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. You've got Murph and you've got Sam, and we are live at the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series event here at Talladega. About to end the set.
I was going to say that one driver we've not mentioned much about that I thought that might have a decent night tonight is Vance Fisher. Vance Fisher has showed up to several of our AMA events, and it seems like he always seems to catch really tough breaks when he gets into some of these races. Some of them not of his own doing, and because he hasn't caught many breaks, we really haven't got a chance to see exactly what Vance Fisher is capable of. But he's quietly just nestled himself in during this entire event and allowed himself to avoid all the incidences that we've seen already happen, and he's put himself up into a 5th position, which is really what you want. You want to avoid everything. You want to run quietly. You don't want to draw any attention to yourself, in my opinion. And so here he is, and in the lead cars and doing a great job tonight. So I did want to give Vance Fisher a shout out.
Yeah. Vance Fisher, loyal competitor. Dunwoody just checked in. We've got Colby Pierce, that CT Gamer 12. He's in the chat. David Dunwoody wanted to know if
Colby.
David Dunwoody wanted to know if his car was wrecked, saying we give him a damage report. There it is.
Yeah, we can do that for Dunwoody. Sure
I don't see,
if they're
the right side might have a bit of a crinkle in it. The hood might.
Yeah, I was going to say the right front seems like it's got a little bit.
Might have a little bit, but it's not too bad in there, Sam. It's hard to get a good look at it, to be honest. But it doesn't.
So
It might have a wrinkle in the hood, but it's not too bad. I'll tell you what, the rear end of Justin Osterman's car is caved in. So whoever's been bump drafting Justin Osterman, be a little bit more gentle as he rides along in second. Look at the back end of this thing when he comes by, Sam. It's reminiscent of Jeffrey Hyatt's car earlier in the event.
there's still a lot of discussion going on about this extended caution, even to the point that there's a lot of discussion about this extended caution, and drivers are getting a little anxious about why they're pacing for so long. They're ready to go racing, and
well, for scoring reasons, you have to complete the stage, right? Yeah. At the assigned.
Now, you did tell Dunwoody that gold paint on the side of that car is completely scratched up. It almost looks like a lottery scratch off at this point. So Dunwoody, there is some right side damage to that Davey Allison machine.
It's a good looking car though, Sam.
Oh yeah, no, it's so iconic. That paint scheme is absolutely iconic, and he's done a great job painting that car. It looks so good.
It was down to the Texaco star on the hood, of course.
Yeah, it's a fantastic job.
That scheme, for those of you who don't know, it is iconic, but that was not the that originally showed up at Daytona without the Texaco logos on it. That was the paint scheme that the Lanier team. Right, Sam, showed up at Daytona with Davey Allison behind the wheel, Robert Yates building the engines. They showed up down there with no sponsor. They got Texaco during speed weeks, and then they ran just with their original paint scheme and the Texaco logos on it for what, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years?
Oh, it was easily that long.
And of course, by then Robert Yates had bought the team, and then in 1990 they ran the car probably with the most forgettable scheme. It was all black but with gold numbers, and the car car did not stand out. It was actually very difficult to read the Texaco writing on the car.
The gold was so dark, it was hard to pick up on the car.
Yeah, it was hard to pick up on the car. So that's when they went the next year to the Dayglow. Which is my favorite. That is still those cars, when paired with the Newman Haas Indy cars or the Andretti's at the time, those schemes are the iconic ones for me. It's not this one; it's the Dayglow one that came in '92.
All right, we're coming down pit road now that we've sorted out all these caution laps. So there's a lot of drivers that have been very anxious about getting repairs done to their cars to see what extent that there is. And so now the pit lane is open. These drivers, the stage is ended. These drivers are going to be coming in and affording repairs to see what the damage is and how much is going to happen on the pit lane. And then we'll be able to go racing here soon enough.
Now, here's an interesting one. Greg Evans just came off of pit road. We're gonna watch this because Greg Evans has been taking repair this entire time, which he knows he's gonna have a penalty, but he's got several minutes done. But he just barely beat the pace car out, Sam. I mean,
well, he can race off of the pit lane and not incur a big penalty because he's already got an end of line. Speeding off pit lane is a EOL penalty. Speeding entering pit lane
Is
is
the
the
hold.
40-second hold under green. So he can stay on the pit lane and get repairs as long as he could possibly think that he needs them.
Yep, there he goes,
And
and
he's going to come back. He's coming back in again.
he's going to have to be careful not to hit the wounded car of Corey Palermo, and there he is. Greg Evans trying to get as much done to the deuce as he can. Meanwhile, Matt Sisler is leading this event. He is behind the Mustang pace car. Jeffrey Hyatt is going to be credited with second. Say hey, Lewis Hayes. Well, he's back to third. Kendall Paul is fourth. Vance Fisher is fifth. We are working the end of the second stage here in the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. For the AMA, you're with Murph and Sam on the P1 Broadcasting channel. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, and be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts. And do want to thank Whiplash SimCams for these fantastic angles here at Talladega. I promise you, fans, I know we've been under caution for 8 laps. The next time by, the lights are going to go on the pace car, and we're going to get this party started, Sam. With 40 laps to go, essentially, till the end, can these drivers make it on fuel, is the next question.
Well, that's 44 laps in the draft.
Or
It is very possible.
Or are we going to see green flag pit stops?
I think it's going to be close.
I think it's going to be very close. I think you're going to... you can't do it leading, that's for sure. But are we going to have... Dunwoody says no. I'm going to say, look, I think somebody in the middle of the pack is liable to try it. I also think that there's absolutely no chance that we make it through this stage without another caution, Sam.
Oh, well, that's probably the most accurate part of this whole discussion is that the way that the race is unfolding, there will be another caution, and we're completely out of our element to think that they would have to go the rest of the race on fuel mileage. But let me step down to the garage area. I'll be right back.
Very good. It is worth pointing out that Michael Kirk came out 34 laps down. He is currently in line with 40 to go. He can make up Troy Carricker, Donald Green, John Hutchins, Joshua Siegfried are all out of the race. Michael Kirk is standing by to make up 4 more spots. He could conceivably finish without too much difficulty. Michael Kirk could conceivably finish 20th in this event. So good for Michael Kirk for standing by. If Dunwoody is saying we're 3 short, I believe him. The issue with that is there's going to be somebody run half throttle the entire time trying to do it. And it's a moot point because, again, the likelihood of us making it all the way to the checkers here without a caution, very, very slim.
Back from the garage area.
Sam is back from the garage area. The pace car is pulled off.
I just went out and discussed it with a couple of crew chiefs down here, and some of these drivers are actually showing 42 point some odd laps on this tank, and that's going to put you right on the number. So if you can nestle yourself in the middle of this pack and ride it out, what the problem is going to be is that if you're a front runner and you want to be at the front of this pack as we're going under green right now, again, Matt Sisler getting a big jump, the driver that's leading this pack is going to be the one that's going to be using the most fuel, and I don't think he can make it. But if you're nestled in and you're modulating that throttle in a good enough way and not full throttle for this stint, I think there may be drivers that will try it.
There's going to be somebody that's going to try it.
I would in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Now, I'll tell you who's not trying it. Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody. They have shot to the lead of this field. Robert Smith giving it a good ride. He's on the high line. They've got Matt Sisler now. They've moved him back to third on that bottom line. And Robert Smith with a big push from a repaired Mr. Excitement, Justin Osterman. The back end of that car was caved in not too long ago. Justin Osterman, he's pushing Robert Smith to the lead, and now Osterman's going to drop down to the bottom. See if he can't pick up Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody, but he's too late. Robert Smith is going to lead this lap, and you've got a challenge on the high side. That's Dylan Godinez. Keith Graham and Sean Merriman working the top side, and they've got the deuce. Greg Evans going to come up there and make it a 4-car show.
I think at this point, Greg Evans is, and probably knowing him like I know him, he's probably been involved in enough incidences that he's decided he's not going to run in the back anymore. He's going to try and get that deuce back up into the front if it can handle it.
To be fair, he's not been involved in accidents because he's been running around in the back. All the incidents he's been involved in have been at the front. Dylan Godinez, that car smacked the inside wall hard enough that I was surprised he didn't get a meatball earlier, Sam. Long caution. He got that car fixed. Now he's back up here leading us, baby.
Back up front. Yeah,
he's back up front. And how about Keith Graham? Keith Graham has been in every truck and every Xfinity race in the AMA this season. I don't believe he's missed one.
To Keith Graham.
Yeah, I don't believe he's missed one, Sam. But Keith Graham,
that kind of attendance is what you want to build a league on. Really, honestly,
you want
to build it on that kind of continuity. Honestly, to me, people that commit to those things, I have them in high esteem and in the best of regards just for their faithfulness.
I do too, Sam. And the thing is, I mean, he's up here. This is the best we've seen him run this season in either the Xfinity or the truck machine. He's pushing Dylan Godinez. He's got himself running second. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul, David Dunwoody have escaped to the middle.
We're almost 3 wide, back up at front again. We are 3 wide.
We're 4 wide.
Through the middle.
We're 4 wide, and that's Dunwoody, but it's not David. It's Jeremy Dunwoody making it 4 wide, and that allowed Vance Fisher to climb to the high side. He'll go even Steven with Dylan Godinez down the back, and they're 3 wide for second. Merriman, Robert Smith.
It's so crazy out there already.
Godinez. Yeah, this is a little wild for my taste, Sam.
I agree.
Little wild for my taste with 38 laps to go, coming to get 37 to go. Usually you don't.
An adrenaline junkie will love it.
Well, and
this is what he feeds on.
Yeah, and look, there are guys that love this style of race. That's why Draft Masters is so successful within iRacing. But you could not pay me to do this, Sam. If
I think in all practical purposes, I could pay you to do this because you're a racer. Would you like it? No, but would you like the pay? Sure, you would.
I would be out back hanging out with Say Hey Lewis Hayes right now. I'd say y'all go on, y'all go right on ahead. I'll see you with about 10 to go.
Exactly. And so these drivers that are really mixing it up front, and that they've got full throttle, and they're really going to be pushing the fuel mileage in regards to finishing this event. Even if in the event that it would stay under green, then you've got some of these other drivers in the back that have all settled in. You've got some front runners back there like Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody, and fast cars such as Ryan O'Donoghue and others. And I don't want to eliminate anyone from that pack, because if the cars are on an equal playing field, this race can be anyone's race. That's why you see the participation at super speedways the way that you do. Is it really does even a lot of the playing field for these drivers as far as equipment goes. And so they're settled into a single file line, and they're just riding back here. I think that they're conserving fuel and waiting to see what happens up front, if there will be a caution, or if it goes 3 wide again up front.
Yeah,
wow.
and that's Jeremy Dunwoody up there. Jeremy Dunwoody is 7 laps off the pace, racing with the leaders 3 wide. Discretion may be the better part of valor for Jeremy. He might want to get out of that pack.
Just fall in line here. I think he's going to fall back down. Maybe
well, I don't know if he thought he safely could.
Corey Palermo is now taking his car behind the wall and into the garage area. Tough night for Corey. We hadn't seen much of Corey over the last few weeks, and so it was nice to see him again. But I think that he had a bad night. And now, as we're watching these things unfold, there's a familiar face on the outside taking the lead as we speak, going into 3.
Yes, it is. Greg Evans has driven the deuce up to the lead. He's going to pull down in front of Vance Fisher. He's got Robert Smith, to help him on that bottom side. Meanwhile, Dylan Godinez and Keith Graham are going to come draft up to the top. And this group has established a large gap. So you've got this front five here. And then you're going to have, you go back to Sean Merriman, Crash Neon, and Matt Sisler. They are still within draft range, Sam, but they have fallen back a little bit. And then there is a rather pronounced gap back to this crew. That's Justin Osterman, Ryan O'Donohue. You've got Jeffrey Hyatt, David Dunwoody is involved in that. They're really kind of spread out quite a bit, Sam.
To see, we were talking about Keith Graham. Graham is actually up here pushing Dylan Godinez and up to the lead around the deuce. Jeremy Dunwoody still making his presence known, even though he's numerous laps down. He's just kind of latched on, and just as you said, there was a 5-car breakaway. This whole field just closed in together.
Yeah, and
I tail a lot on the bottom, but they just closed this thing in.
Yeah, they were really spread out there, Sam. And I don't know if that was a matter of there was a lot
design.
I don't know if it was by design. There was fuel saving happening. I'm sure there is. Meanwhile, the deuce, Greg Evans, has now locked in on the rear bumper of Dylan Godinez. Let's jump up. Let's jump inside the deuce with Greg Evans. And here he is. He is not making much of an effort, Sam, to get past the 08 in front of him. Matter of fact, you can hear him modulating the throttle.
Greg's a veteran. He understands that if this thing levels out and there's no cautions, it could come down to fuel mileage. And so if he's watching that closely, and let's point out too that Greg Evans actually, to afford repairs, he was one of the last cars to come into the pit lane before we went back to green, and he topped off. So he's probably one of the cars that has the, if you can say, the most fuel.
Yeah, you might have.
All right.
Yeah, he might have another. You might have another half gallon.
A couple of tenths. Yeah, a couple of tenths of a gallon. Yeah.
But you can definitely hear him lifting out of the throttle in the deuce as he rides around. The front three have now split away a little bit. They've got about 0.4 of a second gap. And there's the field. Earlier, they were 2x2 by 3x2. Now it's single file, and everybody is trying to do their best Harry Gann impression around this joint.
Jeremy Dunwoody's really kind of the glue car here. He's trying to hold these two packs together.
Well, and Jeremy Dunwoody, although he's 7 laps down, and you're right, he does have his brother in that second pack. Mm-hmm. And so by staying where he is, he's basically helping them keep up. Now,
Sean Roberts is still on the speedway, so Sean would be the lucky dog recipient. But he's 3 laps down.
Yes, there is Sean. He is behind Say Lewis Hayes. That is James Hodgson back there in the forward-facing 88. I'd have to believe that really Say Lewis Hayes just trying to keep his powder dry here, knowing that we're going to have another yellow. Jeremy Dunwoody, remember, is laps down.
Packed back up again, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Dunwoody brought them all back up there, essentially. And he's got Matt Sisler. Now, the 22 is not for position. You've got Matt Sisler but he is the meat in the Dunwoody sandwich. And you were mentioning, Sam, the car's moving around. Look at the movement down the backstretch. And that is all involuntary, by the way.
And there's just so many variables that are impacting how the car reacts on the speedway. Suspension, air movement around the packing around the cars when they're so bunched together. Listen, it was only a matter of about 10 laps or more ago that Jeremy Dunwoody didn't even have a hood on that car. And now he's racing up here with the leaders. Going to pull up here to the top side.
Yeah, and I think he went to get out of the way, and there comes Sean. There comes Sean Roberts, or excuse me, Sean Merriman. Rather. It was Merriman rather. I think Jeremy Dunwoody went to get out of the way, and Merriman pulled up behind him and said, "I think I want to drive to the front behind you." you know, that's a tough spot to be in for certain sure. You know, the last thing Jeremy Dunwoody wants to do is cause a mess. And he's got the 54 of Michael Kirk up there, who is also laps down. Michael Kirk, 34 laps down, and he is third in line on the top, pushing Justin Osterman.
And if you're a lead lap car and you're looking at the relative and you see that there are cars that are lapped down or blue on your relative, and you see that, sometimes that gets into your head, and you know drivers begin to think, well, if you're laps down, why are you up here racing with the leaders? And they think that you should fall back to these lead lap cars. And so it can play along with the psychology of a driver if he's involved in racing in these particular situations. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it can get into the head of some drivers.
I can tell you what Michael Kirk and Jeremy Dunwoody are doing, which is that's a team car to Justin Osterman, and they are pushing the 53. That's what they are doing. You know, they're up there to kind of force the pace, which Justin Osterman loves to do. They're up there to force the pace and push their teammate. Would be my guess.
Right.
Sam.
No, I'm not opposed to that ideology. Big push there from Jeremy Dunwoody. He gets the 53 a little bit out of shape.
Yes, he does. And the reason you see Jeremy Dunwoody kind of moving around in that pack is he's trying to get air on the front of that car. Right, he's trying to make sure he doesn't blow the thing up. So he's peeking out, trying to get air, and then he'll come up and give Osterman a good push at the end of the backstretch. Osterman temporarily goes to the lead. Man, I don't know, Sam. That 22 is moving around a lot.
He sure is. There's just a lot of play. Again, he had so much damage to that car. You don't know if he's afforded every repair, and if the repairs were substantial enough to get that car back to its full strength. So many drivers that have decided just to ride back here in the back and just kind of pace themselves. Keith Graham with a big push on the deuce there and got him out of shape. He's apologizing for that contact. But all the cars that are on the racetrack are still well within striking distance of each other. No one's really off the pace so much that they're not in this lead draft. Everyone still has some kind of semblance of hold on the lead draft.
Yes, it does. And I get the feeling, Sam, the more this goes like this, we're just kind of playing out the string. Justin Osterman gets the push and dives down in front of Matt Sisler. I almost feel like we're just kind of waiting. Right, and as you wait, the tension builds. Greg Evans has said he's seen enough.
He's had enough. He's going to the back.
Now, Jeremy Dunwoody is going to get in front of Justin Osterman, and he'll get his lap back. He'll get his lap back there, Sam.
One of them, yeah.
One of them to go to 6 laps down. But that
Michael
also
Kirk is the same.
Yeah, Michael Kirk wants to do the same, and that's also going to help Justin Osterman and
save fuel.
Yeah, and Robert Smith save fuel. They don't mind the lap cars up there now, do they, Sam?
No, in fact, they're like, oh, we'll ride behind you here, because if you're watching that fuel gauge closely, and you know that it's going to be close, then you're very happy to have a car in front of you that you can draft off of. But who in the back gets to the point, Mark, where they look at their fuel mileage and they say, okay, I think I can go. Like we see Lewis Hayes, who's been in the very back of this entire pack of cars for this whole run so far. Now he is slowly starting to move himself up toward the top 10. And he was at the very back at the tail end of this thing. And so you never know when a driver's going to say, okay, I know I can make it on fuel now, and I can do it full throttle.
Yeah, Matt Sisler, Greg Evans are going straight to the back. Say, hey, Lewis Hayes, I think he's decided he might have saved enough because he is passing cars. We're right on board. He is passing cars, Sam, in wholesale fashion.
Yes, sir.
Down
Yes, sir.
down through the tri-oval.
Oh, look at the Deuce. The Deuce is going to be pulling right up behind
Yep.
Lewis Hayes here, and he's going to take this high side. Now we see Jeremy Dunwood. He pulls off the racetrack and out of the way.
Yeah.
He is completely out of the throttle.
Yeah, I think he finally decided he's been up there enough. But you've got the Deuce, Greg Evans, and say, hey, Lewis Hayes. They've decided, hey, we've saved enough.
Oh, we got a car in the wall. It's Sean Roberts is in the wall.
There's Sean Roberts. No caution on the track. Sean Roberts is going to get the thing off the fence. He's going to come down to the pit lane. And what has happened to Sean Roberts?
He was laps down. He's actually the lucky dog recipient if the caution comes out. But boy, he hit the wall hard there.
Yeah, it almost looks like he misjudged the corner, Sam. Got up and nicked the wall, and then he couldn't get off of it. And then he just kind of holds it up there to allow the field to stream past. Lucky not to involve anyone else. Sean Roberts gets it to the pit lane. Say Hey Lewis Hayes has now moved to third spot, and he's got help from an old friend behind him, Sam.
He sure does. It'll be interesting to see if these two work together in the closing laps, as we're getting close now to 20 laps to go in this event.
We most certainly are. Do want to thank everybody for joining us here at the P1 Broadcasting Network. You've got Murphy, you've got Sam. We are 22 laps to go in the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series here in the AMA. 21 to go. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, and be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts here on P1. Jeremy Dunwoody has come back out onto the track. And he will quickly be gobbled up by this pack, being led by the lap car of Michael Kirk. And they've got Jeffrey Hyatt, Vance Fisher, Say Hey Lewis Hayes. That is Keith Graham and the Deuce. An interested observer run along in sixth. And he's going to be the glue car now that kind of holds the two groups together. I wonder if they were just looking to see how easy it was to make up that time, Sam.
Yeah. And another thing, and we're speculating, and we have to look at every spectrum of that speculation, is that, we could think that maybe Lewis Hayes was in the back of the field trying to save as much fuel as he could, and then it gets to a point where he either says, I've got enough, I can make it, and he makes his run, or he says, I'm going to be short either way it goes. I'm going to move to the front. I don't want to be back here. I want to be up front. So, it could work either way as far as fuel mileage is concerned, because we have some drivers who say they were 3 short after pit stops. Again, we're not in the cars, and the draft has so much effect on how much you're able to conserve or how much you're not able to conserve. There's just a lot of variables playing out here, and we're going to have to see how it unfolds. But let's put all the cards on the table. If you're a driver and you've conserved fuel long enough, and you know that you can make it just based on the fuel that you have in the car, then you're going to stick this thing out and stay on the racetrack, and you're going to take that gamble. If you're one driver that wants to run up front and you want to be able to mash the gas and keep going as long as you can go, you're going to turn off your tires and you're going to pit at the very last possible moment, so that pit stop that you make to top off, it's going to be the shortest amount of time that you have to be on pit lane. So there's a lot of variables of how you approach the end of this race if it stays green. And now that the packs are separating themselves, the likelihood of green flag racing becomes more prevalent. But if they bunch back up again like they did earlier in the race, you could see Katie bar the door crashes, which is this racetrack is famous for.
Now, I'm gonna present an alternate theorem here for you, Sam, and I bet you didn't think you were going to hear the word.
Let's put them all on here.
I bet you didn't think you were going to hear the word theorem out of my Ball State educated mouth this evening. But I'm thinking about Daytona 500s, Talladega 500s of past, where we see teams or even entire manufacturers, they don't go to the end of the window. They'll stop somewhere short. They'll all stop together, form a big pack, and they're able to run quicker lap times than the leaders who are running to the end of the tank. And so if that's the case, might we see a large team like Dark Horse, or you've got the DG team, Dylan Godinez, he's got Sean Merriman out there with him. When do you think we're going to see some of that happen? And would Greg Evans, I'm sure, is making deals with, say, hey, Lewis Hayes, if they're not in Discord, maybe they're talking in the game, maybe they're using hand signals. Maybe they've got 2 tin cans with a wire.
They're just consciously keeping each other in sight.
Right. And you don't always, the communication can be nonverbal. It can be worked out beforehand.
That's exactly right.
It can be worked out beforehand.
Who you can race with and who you can't.
Right. It can be worked out beforehand. I'm just saying a guy like Ryan O'Donohue here might be at a disadvantage. He's truly a lone ranger. He doesn't have any teammates and he doesn't have anybody with him in a Discord. I wonder if one of those teams is going to bring.
But I'll tell you, other drivers will, if you're not involved with a bunch of other team drivers, other drivers that see the Deuce, the 14, see cars that run up front and are fast or win races, they see those cars on the racetrack.
Monkey see, monkey do.
To those. Yeah, they'll gravitate to those drivers because they know that they have the capability of winning races and they want to attach themselves to it. So there are drivers that will see those cars, whether they're lone rangers or not, and they'll say, I think this guy can get me to the front. And there's just so many visuals that go on in these capacities. And to answer your question a little earlier about pack pit stops, team pit stops on these long runs, I think we passed that window. Because what happens is that when you plan pack pit stops, there is always the variable that someone could mess up or that you would miss it or avoid someone. You start adding so many different things that could happen on entry, and some drivers don't want to take that risk with the last pit stop of the race. It might be something that you would do in the middle of the event, but not necessarily with the win on the line. So it is a possibility that some drivers, 1 or 2 drivers may. We've seen Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody working together the entire event. Those 2 drivers can tell themselves, hey, listen, we're 3 laps short. Let's short pit. Me and you, we'll make it work. We'll come back on track and we'll see if we can't turn the fastest laps that we can. But as far as 4 and 5 cars, the more cars you add to that opportunity, the more risk that you take.
Not a lot of risk in that move that Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody just made. They rallied on the high side. Dunwoody laid the front bumper to Kendall Paul's rear. They went to the front. Now Greg Evans, he's trying to do the same, and he's got Mr. Excitement off the nose of that Deuce. Keith Graham slides high, and it looks like he might have got a piece of the wall. But Greg Evans determined to push Justin Osterman to the lead here. Now,
there's no doubt about that.
Now Osterman goes down and collects Kendall Paul and David Dunwoody. Those are team cars. And now Greg Evans is going to be pushed by Sean Merriman. And they've got Jeffrey Hyatt along, as well as Dylan Godinez. Now, the 08 and the 18 are teammates, right? You see the similar liveries and the DG Motorsports logos on the hoods. Those are team cars. And so they're going to try to link up if they can. But right now, Greg Evans might be their best friend, Sam.
Oh, no question that you want to latch on to someone like Greg Evans. Sean Roberts has actually pulled off the racetrack, and now he is taking his car to the garage area, and that puts Jeremy Dunwoody, the only car, laps down. So even though he just did take another lap, lose another lap under green flag conditions just now, Jeremy Dunwoody is actually the only car lap down that can get the Lucky Dog recipient if the caution comes out. But now we're seeing with 15, we're coming to about 10 laps to go. We're between 15 and 10 laps, and now the field is starting to bunch up. We're going to, in the next little bit of racing here, you're going to see how this field is going to completely become condensed like it was at the beginning of the race, and drivers are going to start taking more chances, and they're going to start making more moves. It's about to get exciting, fans. Tune in. Yeah,
I was going to say, if you want to go get that last bowl of popcorn, Go get yourself a refreshment. Do it now, because it's about to
or
get.
Flippios, or whatever it was that you said earlier. Flippios. Or...
I can't even remember what I said. We're gonna have to go back and listen.
Yeah, I have to replay that. It was Flippios or something.
I'm sure that David Dunwoody will have a soundboard of it before the night is over. Meanwhile, you've got Osterman, Kendall Paul, and Greg Evans. They formed a 3-car breakaway from Jeffrey Hyatt, Dylan Godinez, Robert Smith, Keith Graham, Lewis Hayes. That is the second group.
The draft, though.
Yeah, they're still in the draft, but they've broken away a little bit. Now, give it a lap, and they'll all be on top of each other. But for now
it's going to get tighter. Every lap, it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. You're going to see this whole group of cars become one large mass of metal and rubber. It's about to get really exciting.
It is. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is the lead car on the top line, and he's got David Dunwoody.
What a push.
He's got Dunwoody
push by David Dunwoody.
If there's one guy in this field that I want pushing me, it's David Dunwoody. Dunwoody laid the wood to Say Hey Lewis Hayes. The 83 shoots out into the lead. Dunwoody to second. He's got the lap car, which is his brother Jeremy Dunwoody to third, and then 2 team cars behind him. In Justin Osterman, Kendall Paul, they've kicked the deuce. Greg Evans back to 6th. Robert Smith is working on the high line, trying to get something going. He's next to Justin Osterman, Kendall Paul. But Say Hey Lewis Hayes, with 26 miles to go, leads at Talladega.
Oh, and now we have David Dunwoody, who's laps down now. He's kind of sticking to the bumper of his brother's Texaco-themed Ford Mustang, and so now they're coming down the backstretch. And as we were saying earlier, Lewis Hayes has found his way up at the front late in this event. But Robert Smith is going to have something to say about this before the night is out. And now the first time...
Jeremy Dunwoody got down on the apron, pulled up in front of Justin Osterman, and just about had a mess. Also, James Hodgson, out of nowhere, has made his way up to the 4th spot.
Early wreck.
Yeah, that car was torn to pieces earlier in this race. James Hodgson is now 4th, and he's bidding to the outside. He's going to try to get up behind Robert Smith, who has side drafted more or less by himself up to that second spot. Now, if I were these guys, I see that 22. He was on the apron earlier.
Yeah, he is moving around so much.
He is, and we'll see.
This was big push from Merriman there, and it got Dunwoody out of shape. They're going to touch. They're 3 wide going into turn 3.
Yeah, I think that thing of looking in your relative and seeing a lapped car, the pushes on Jeremy Dunwoody are going to start becoming much more aggressive.
More aggressive.
And those pushes aren't to propel you to the front; they are to propel you out of the pack.
Yeah, because in the closing laps, that psychology is that listen, we just let us race, let the lead cars race. It's that mentality, and it just gets into your psyche.
It does indeed. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is your leader. He's got a very loyal David Dunwoody behind him. Robert Smith is trying to get the outside going. He's got Vance Fisher and James Hodgson with him up there. They've made it now to the second car in line.
Now, Vance Fisher, I've called him out earlier in this race, and Vance Fisher is now on the rear bumper of Robert Smith. Those 2 cars have seemed to work together a lot tonight, and so I'm interested to see if Vance Fisher is going to be making a big push here behind the 11 on the outside. But what he'll need that car behind him to tuck in tightly so that they can get that momentum. And that's James Hodgson, but he's not pulled up on anyone that I've seen tonight. He's always had that car gap.
You know, he has. Meanwhile, Robert Smith has finally rallied to the outside of Say Hey Lewis Hayes. He's got help. Vance Fisher is up there. And then there's that gap back to James Hodgson.
And that makes it hard for that. Big push by Vance Fisher and gets Robert Smith out of shape. And that makes Sean Merriman check up behind Hodgson as he takes evasive action out on the outside.
Well, and that may form into a third line, Sam. We'll get into the P1 airship. Sean Merriman gets hung out to dry. The outside line did not form behind him, although he does have Dylan Godinez, who is his teammate back there. And David Dunwoody continues to give shot after shot to say, hey, Lewis Hayes.
These two have stuck together the last 5 or 6 laps. They've not changed any distance or any momentum that they've had together. They're holding that bottom line, and so it's left the rest of these cars hustling to figure out who can get into that top line and try and make a run at the 83.
They're 3 wide in about the 4th row. This is a wonderful shot, Sam. We are in the P1 airship looking down at the race for this lead. Jeremy Dunwoody in the 22 is laps down. That's Robert Smith in the 11. You've got the 53 of Justin Osterman and the DG Motorsports machines of Dylan Godinez and Sean Merriman. That's Merriman at the head of that. They've formed a 3rd lane. They're going to try to drive around the top, Sam.
5 laps to go this time by. Hold on. What you've got. Put the popcorn aside. We don't want anyone choking on kernels now.
That's right.
It's 5 laps to go.
Put the beverage in a safe place. You'll need it after the race. Meanwhile,
who has fuel? Who doesn't have fuel?
Right. And did say, hey, Lewis Hayes go too early? Is he prepared to lead this thing to the end?
3 wide down the backstretch.
And I think that's how we're going to spend it until we don't, until we're not 3 wide anymore, Sam. That's say, hey, Lewis Hayes on the bottom.
There's no decided advantage between these lines right now. The best line in this particular case, because the other ones are not formed up very well, is the bottom line with Lewis Hayes.
It is indeed. That's why I love this camera angle so much, Sam. You can see the lines and the momentum as it goes. Lewis Hayes leads it now, 4 laps to go. The bottom line does seem to be superior just because David Dunwoody, anytime
is relentless.
Yeah, anytime they get close, Dunwoody will give say hey Lewis Hayes a shot, and they will surge forward.
Here's a big run down the backstretch for the middle, that high or middle line. The backstretch is really where they get their run. But now on the bottom side, going into 3, you'll see that bottom row will get a little bit of a surge. And you'll see it here. Now he's a car length, almost a car length and a half ahead. Dunwoody's now almost a full car length ahead of the outside line. Sean Merriman has been constantly trying that high side. 3 laps to go this time by. It looks like all our drivers are probably going to have enough fuel to finish this race. We don't see anybody pulling off the racetrack. No one's called any pit stops. No one's made any indication that they're going to be pulling off the racetrack. It's run what you brung from this point on.
They have not. And as long as David Dunwoody stays loyal to say, hey, Lewis Hayes,
He's in the catbird seat.
Yeah, I don't see how those two are going to be headed. Now, is Dunwoody going to try to make a run? Remember, he's got his brother laps down, and he's got a team car behind him. When does David Dunwoody pull out and try to make a run at this lead? You know he wants to do it.
Yeah. It all depends on how that outside.
We've got cars coming to pit lane. That appeared to be Dylan Godinez and Greg Evans. They are out. So bingo on fuel for Evans and Godinez. Meanwhile,
they were the last 2 cars. They were the last 2 cars on pit road to top off.
My goodness, there's so much moving around on that bottom lane, 3 rows back.
3 by 3. Behind these leaders, 3 by 3.
They are not
so tightly knit together. You could not get a piece of paper between some of these cars. Dunwoody backs off of the 83, and that allows the outside lines to make big runs. But now here comes the 28 for another big push.
Here he does come. Apparently Mike Rigney went for a cookie, and he didn't bring me one, and so he has had 5 Cookie Monster points deducted from his bank. As we come to get the white flag, it's 1 lap to go. Do we make it back around, Sam?
Well, somebody has got to make it back around. And right now, those 2 top lines, and they're crashing. This next flag ends the race. These cars are now out of the running, and that leaves Dunwoody and Lewis Hayes coming down the backstretch to take the checker flag.
Let's not count out Osterman, Merriman, or James Hodgson. We've seen
the run they get will be vital down this backstretch.
It'll be huge. Hodgson is linked up with Merriman. They're going to go to the top. Osterman is going to stay on the bottom. These cars right here. Now, Dunwoody's going to pull out, And
Lewis didn't move. Lewis didn't move, but now Dunwoody's door to door as they come down the front stretch, and here comes James Hodgson.
here we go. Hodgson's gonna
Pushing Dunwoody.
Yeah, he's gonna stick with his teammate. David Dunwoody is gonna come through the tri-oval down to get the checkered flag.
Unbelievable.
It'll be David Dunwoody from James Hodgson and Say Hey Lewis Hayes on the podium.
What a finish! Oh my heavens! You really got to be appreciative of what you saw there on that last lap. I know some of these drivers are not happy. It was just chaos going into turn one on the last lap, and a lot of drivers suffered from that. Matt Sisler, Sean Merriman, Keith Graham. Oh,
it almost is. So we're gonna
collected the majority of that field. Oh, the impacts that you see back there.
It does. So we're gonna slow this down. Here's the first one, and it's gonna start with Jeremy Dunwoody on the bottom. Gets into Fisher, and then that causes the mess. Ryan O'Donoghue is involved. Keith Graham takes a shot to the outside, but we're not done, Sam. So they continue.
No.
They continue on. We're gonna get down the back stretch. The field is wrecking behind them. It's worth noting that Matt Sisler came home sixth and Crash Neon brings it home seventh. Kendall Paul, Eric Quarter, Vance Fisher round out the top 10. Greg Evans and Dylan Godinez, they came for fuel. They're going to finish 11th and 12th. Robert Smith is still trying to get across the finish line, Sam.
Kudos to Robert for wanting to finish this thing.
Kudos to him. Okay, so now here's the second one. Dunwoody makes his move, and really Say Hey Lewis Hayes is defenseless here.
There's not a lot. Dunwoody was really in the most advantageous position going down the backstretch. He could watch the cars behind him and their momentum and kind of pull up through there, and so he was really in the best position, and it left Lewis Hayes kind of a sitting duck there at the end.
Yes, he did, and that's kind of the way it happened. We did see the contact between Merriman and Hodgson. Merriman spins the inside. He'll be credited with fifth place. Meanwhile, Robert Smith did not make it across the line. He has given it up. But David Dunwoody, with that move, is your leader, or is your winner. And I believe that one is no longer functioning, Sam.
The impacts on that last crash were incredibly intense.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were indeed. Your winner is going to be David Dunwoody from James Hodgson and Say Hey Lewis Hayes. I bet Say Hey Lewis Hayes is going to be happy.
He's going to be thrilled.
He gets to talk to you, Sam. Justin Osterman.
Oh, well, that's no big thing.
Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, comes home fourth. Sean Merriman in fifth. Matt Sisler, Crash Neon, Kendall Paul, Eric Quarter, Vance Fisher. They limp their cars home after the huge impact in turn one. They'll finish 6th through 10. In 11th, it's going to be Greg Evans. Dylan Godinez, 12th. Those two cars pitted for fuel. Robert Smith is going to be 13th. Keith Graham, 14th. They did not make it back around. Ryan O'Donoghue is 15th. Jeffrey Hyatt, Jeremy Dunwoody, Sean Roberts, Michael Kirk, Corey Palermo will be your top 20. And 21st, Joshua Siegfried, John Hutchins, 22nd. Donald Green finishes 23rd. Troy Carricker will be credited with 24th. And Mason Muller is 25th and last on the day. Now, David Dunwoody is saying that we may have Big Jim's cookies for everyone.
Tell Dunwoody if he's going to make promises, he's got to keep them. I don't want to hear promises. I want to see cookies.
Now, I will say this: if you'll see the Big Jim's Cookies logo on the nose cone of the number 69 Indy Alliance IndyCar, I won an iRacing Indy 500, and I still have not yet received my Big Jim's cookie. So I'm lobbying Brian Sharp. I want my cookie.
I'm the cookie guy. I would like to have my cookie as well.
See what you started, Rigney? Now everybody wants cookies.
Yeah, thanks, Rigney. All I had tonight after dinner was a piece of cheesecake.
Now that does sound good too. I'm going to gain 100 pounds hanging out with you, Sam. In the booth, we've got Say Hey Lewis Hayes. Lewis, you've got Murph, you've got Sam Crow in the P1 Broadcasting booth. My man, you came up about 3/4 of a mile short.
Oh my gosh, guys. I can't tell you how unreal this feels to be talking to you guys. I've tried so hard to get a podium finish in all the P1 leagues I race in, and this is the very first one, so it's special.
Great job, Lewis. Fantastic. It was really cool to watch you, run your race, make your plan. I do want to tell you that you were actually Mark Murphy's pick to win this race tonight. And so we are not surprised that you're on the podium. And of course, I'm not surprised. I brag on your super speedway prowess all the time. And so it's just a tremendous run tonight. Did you have enough fuel at the end? And what was your plan? And were you saving there at the beginning of the last run in order so that you can make a big push? Just tell us a little bit about going into the final laps.
Yeah, that knowing that last stage was at 50, and that would put us at about 2 laps short of being able to make it on a fuel run. So that's when I decided to come in and pit with 1 to go. And that got me about 1.5 laps short. So I decided to sit at the back and save until I felt like I went a little sooner than I wanted to. But I felt like the cars in front of me were kind of stacking up. And if I didn't go when I went, it wouldn't do any good to save all that fuel because I'd just be stuck back there. So when I got up to the front, I was still pedaling. Even in the lead, I was still trying to coast a little bit through the turns. And when I came across the start-finish line on the last lap, I had 0.4 gallons of fuel.
Wow. We knew you'd be close, man. It's just so happy for you, Lewis. Once again, you prove your mettle at these racetracks, and I am absolutely thrilled for you for your podium finish tonight. You were so close, my friend, to pulling this off, considering that those were team cars that pulled around you on the outside there.
Yeah, I knew those guys. I knew the 28 needed, he was down in the points for the playoffs, so I know he needed a win to punch his way through. So I didn't want to go up and bang doors there at the end. I just wanted it to be clean. He raced me clean all the way to the end. So when I was hoping a caution was going to come out at that wreck on the last lap, but when it didn't, I knew I was a sitting duck then.
Yeah. Mark stepped away for a second. So, Lewis, as the tradition is here at P1 Broadcasting, we usually always like to give the drivers the privilege to call out any shout-outs that they may have for their sponsors, family, friends, whatever it may be. You have earned this podium spot tonight, Lewis Hayes, and so the mic and the podium is yours.
Well, Sam, I got here by saving, but the big save was Jesus Christ saving my soul. So I want this first podium finish, I want to dedicate to him and all the things he's done for me.
That's fantastic, Lewis. Well said. We're eager to see what you can do in the closing events here if you come and participate in the final races of the season. So congratulations, Lewis. We look forward to what the future holds for you here in the AMA.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe we got another race here tomorrow night in the truck, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Hang on, man.
It's going to get good, yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I believe you've got a fan in the chat that is offering cookies, and so you can
Mom's homemade cookies.
Mom's homemade cookies.
Mike Rigney is actually saying he'll take his mother's 86-year-old homemade cookies over any store-bought junk.
Well, I am definitely a cookie monster. So,
what Mike doesn't know is we're all going to show up at his house later and demand cookies.
Oh well, the house is big enough that we would be comfortable.
So Mark, I've been waiting for this moment to tell you this for a long time. Doing an interview with me, if you close your eyes, it's like a 1970 NASCAR interview.
No, you're totally good, Lewis. You definitely far more well spoken than who was who was the guy that Chris Economaki pulled out of the car with a blown engine and said asked him a question. The guy just nodded his head because he had no idea what to say. He was on TV. Who was that? I can picture the hair, but I can't. Was it Joe Frassen maybe?
There's no telling. Junior Johnson was not a good interview either. Junior Johnson was just so abrupt and
My
cold.
my favorite one of Junior Johnson is though he's standing on a block of ice. He's standing on a block of ice, and they asked him if he was trying to stay cool or something. He said, "Well, I got to get off of it every so often, It gets too cold." You're like, what? Why are we talking about Junior Johnson standing on a block of ice? But anyway,
I know,
Lewis,
right?
it's a pleasure to see. It's a pleasure to see you up front. It's always fun to race with you. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it, and thank you guys at P1. You guys do a great job, and make it fun for us guys to go back and watch it. And I just love being able to sit back and watch all the replays that you guys do a great job with.
Congratulations, Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our pleasure. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. That is Say Hey Lewis Hayes. For second place, we're gonna bring in the battling Brit James Hodgson. James, those aren't we gotta ask, are those your pets' footprints on that car? Who came up with that scheme? That's a good looking hot rod.
Well, number one, I'm not that artistic to get my dogs to stay still enough to paint their paws and stick it on. But it is my two dogs on the side of it, yeah. But no, it was Alex Bowman inspired. Just because we fostered a dog a couple of weeks ago, which is going to its forever home on Saturday, and unfortunately,
nice.
it probably spent the last few months being beaten and starved and devoid of water, and he's an absolute love. So he's going to his rightful forever home, and
Nice.
yeah, hence the paint job, just to sort of say, hey, please don't abuse pets, treat them like family.
Agreed.
Absolutely. You can always tell a lot about a man by how he treats his dog. That's a great rule of thumb for life in general. I'll tell you what, you treated your race car pretty well this evening. It got a little bit bent early. You were involved in the first smash of the night, but you got it all fixed. Talk about the patience it took to do that, knowing you were pretty beat up still for the first couple of stages.
Yeah, I got all the damage fixed, and then I got caught up in the there was a huge checkup after the second restart.
Mm-hmm.
And there were several of us that just went nose to tail, and I just laughed and went, "Oh, brilliant! There's another 2 minutes of damage, I suspect," and it was. So honestly, when it came to the third stage, I just wanted to chill at the back, save fuel, knowing that we were there or thereabouts. And then with about 15, 14 to go, I thought time to go and start to make the way to the front and see what we can do. But yeah, it was up until that point, it was a really uneventful night for all the wrong reasons.
Well, James, it's never wrong on my part, and it's always a delight to see the 88, the Ford 88, always my battling Brit friend to take that car to the front. I did notice, though, in the closing laps that you were one of the few that really did not pull really right up on the car in front of you. Was that planned, or you really weren't one to push in the closing stages? There were cars in front of you, but there was a bit of a gap there. Was that on purpose?
I got the sense that everyone was still saving fuel.
Mhm.
So, and I was on the cusp, I had 3/4 of a lap spare.
Mm.
And I thought if I start trying to push, I think in front of me at that point was Robert Smith, number 11. And I thought if I start pushing now, I'm just going to burn that excess fuel off and the way things felt for that last few laps, where it was 3 wide, it was getting incredibly tight at times. You could sense that something was going to happen. I thought, if the caution comes out, I need that spare fuel. So don't really go for this until 2 laps to go. So yeah, it was sort of a chess match at 187 miles an hour, but yeah, good. Yeah, well, good observation. Yeah, I was certainly not trying to burn the fuel off at that point. But it was complete chaos at the end. I know that on that last lap through the tri-oval, well, I should say we were just approaching the white flag. Everything bunched together. It was 3 wide, and everybody came super close. And then as you come through the tri-oval, naturally, people tend to kind of filter back into respective lanes, and it just didn't seem to do that. And I think that's part of the reason for the carnage at that point. I kind of tried to filter back in, not realizing that Matt Sizzler was still pushed in, so that caused some damage there. And so yeah, if I was at fault for any of that, yeah, my sincere apologies. It's last lap of Talladega, and at that point it was just laser focus.
Well, that laser focus earned you the runner-up position tonight, James. And with the second place trophy come the spoils. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours.
Thank you. First and foremost, just massive congratulations to Dunwoody. It was tempting to take it 3 wide and see if I could pip it, but no, time to be a good teammate and push a fellow teammate to Phoenix. And it was great to see him get the victory. And just big shout out to Archway Industrials. Just appreciate all their sponsorship, all their support. Sean Mott has been fantastic for the league. Big shout out to Dark Horse Performance and all my teammates, and just great racing with everyone tonight, and also to yourselves at P1. I've said it before. You put in an engaging, professional, fantastic broadcast, and genuinely appreciate it. And just because one of my daughters has walked in the room, big thank you to her and my wife and my other daughter for letting me do this and putting up with my nonsense doing this each week. So thank you.
Congratulations, James. Great finish tonight.
Cheers, Sam. Cheers, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one. That is James Hodgson. We're gonna get the battle and Brit out of here, and we're gonna pull in the man of the hour. That would be David Dunwoody. Dunwoody, you've got Murph, you've got Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You finally pull that 28 into victory lane. You do it tonight in the special Davey Allison scheme. You were very loyal to say, hey, Lewis Hayes in the closing laps. That entire time, were you thinking about when to make your move, and when did you think the best time to make it was?
I kind of was orchestrating that move because I knew I had Justin, and I even had Jeremy there with me, and Jeremy started pushing early, and I'm like, just wait till we're coming out of 4 with 2 to go. We're going to start pushing Say Hey out front, and I just wanted to push him out and get away from everybody else so that I had room to make a move, and I was hoping I had a little help, and luckily James got clear and was there to help me on the front straightaway.
David, fantastic. I'm so thrilled that you've got this victory. You've been so faithful to the series in so many capacities, whether it's driving or administrating. Even tonight was a tough night as far as admins go, but still you stuck it out. I did notice that tonight there was just a sense of urgency in your driving. And so do you want to talk a little bit about that? Did you feel like that this was the one race that you really wanted to sink your teeth into? What was your mindset going into this thing?
This one circled since the chase started. I knew this was my race to win if I was going to win one. Because next week I'm pretty good at Martinsville, but I'm not as good as probably Evans or some of these other guys, even though I'm really good at short tracks. But I think those guys are going to probably smoke us there. So I figured this is my shot to get it locked in, and being 30 out coming in, I had to win.
I did notice that Tonight there was just a sense of urgency in your driving. And so do you want to talk a little bit about that? Did you feel like that this was the one race that you really wanted to sink your teeth into? What was your mindset going into this thing?
I
well, had to win and did win go together in this particular instance, and you were in the best position in those closing laps, especially after the incident going into one and the big crash. It just left you a little bit of mirror driving as you saw Merriman and the others that were coming up on your outside. Did you try to consider exactly how you were going to approach that and not allow them to get that big run? Was that going through your mind as well?
That definitely went through my mind. As soon as Jeremy got hooked or whatever happened there, it's just a matter of, okay, who's going to push me past Lewis now? Because I didn't know how close Justin was. I couldn't really tell how close James was or where he even was. And I look in the mirror and it's James pushing Merriman. I'm like, I got to jump up here in front of Merriman to try to do something. And then whatever happened down in 3 and 4 happened, and it was me and Lewis, and James comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, James and Merriman actually made contact coming out of 4, and then James had a little bit of momentum, and he was still trying to save the car. And when you go back and you watch the end of this race, you're going to see how actually close James Hodgson come to taking you out of this race by hitting you in the right rear. But he saved it, and he was able to get the momentum and finish second behind you. So it was an exciting finish. And I'm absolutely thrilled for you, David. It's just a great run tonight.
Thank you.
As always, when you get on the podium here at P1, David, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, my friend. Have at it.
I'm definitely going to thank the Big Jim's Cookie guys. He owes us a whole lot of cookies now.
I still haven't got paid.
I am waiting on my cookies.
I still have not got paid my
Mr. Sharp,
cookies for winning Indy.
You're not wrong. I mean, he needs to do that. So those guys, Brian jumped in the chat when we were talking about that stage 2 end when we were doing the race control stuff, trying to get everybody calmed down and sorted out. Brian came into my Twitch chat and actually posted the rules so that I could read it to Kendall, and then so we knew exactly what the rule was. And so I thank Brian for adminning and modding my chat since he couldn't race. Since he's got his illness, I got to thank you guys for putting on an amazing show. Congratulations to you guys for doing the Indy Open race before this.
Yeah, the pro qualifier. That was a huge deal for us as a channel.
I totally caught. I was watching the end of that during practice. I got to thank that Fish with Admin Box. He's going to be thrilled.
I know one of us finally
Archway.
won something.
Right. It's not just you winning all the time. Admin Box, Harold with Dream Cruise, the White Knuckle guys for the dirt setups, and they're really helping me get to I'm leading the points in the Pro 2 jumpy trucks now by about 30 points.
Yay!
We're gonna try to hold that one off too.
No, it's a lot of fun racing with you guys. It's a lot of fun being around you, David. Go enjoy this one. Keep going fast, having fun. And tell Sharp I want my cookie.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll
and
try
if
to
we
get
don't
something
get
out of it.
those, we're still going to hold Mike Rigney to his promise for cookies as well.
That's right.
Oh, well, hold on.
Road trip.
Rigney's got cookies?
Rigney's-
Hold on. How do I get cookies from Rigney?
Well, it's his mother. It's his 80-something-year-old mother.
Yeah, his
who makes
mom.
homemade cookies.
His mom makes them, and if they won't give us cookies, we'll get the wonderful Miss Natalie to break out her recipe for chocolate chip cookies.
Well, I can't be too picky about cookies because my wife actually makes some of the best cookies I've ever had.
I will tell you this.
I'm in good shape. But I do want to try one of your cookies, David. Send one on.
Yeah, no joke.
I got to get them from Brian. It's all sharp.
Yeah, it's Sharp. Brian Sharp. Just so you know, just so you know, Sam. Brian Sharp is a professional restaurateur and chef. And so
he worked the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, his cookies are not store-bought cookies. He is an artiste with the cookie. But be that as it may, Dunwoody, get out of here. Go celebrate.
I will.
Congratulations, my friend.
Absolutely. That is David Dunwoody. He is the winner tonight, Sam. It never disappoints, does it?
No, these races will always. I mean, this race was a textbook super speedway race. It really was. It was everything we expected and everything we didn't expect, and so it just unfolded a lot like I've seen these races unfold. The only difference is that the chess pieces change. as far as who they are. And these drivers, they really went at it tonight, and it was a good race to watch. It really was a good race to watch.
It most certainly was. And if you like this, we're going to come do it again tomorrow night, Sam. It is the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. It's going to be live from Talladega. Pre-race 8:20, race at 8:35. Sam and I and Gary are all going to take the weekend off. And so there is no race on Saturday. Sunday night, I'm trying to remember if we got a race Sunday night or not. Yes, we do have a race Sunday night, 8 o'clock. The votive IndyCar Oval Series will happen at 8 o'clock right here on P1. Monday night is the big one. It is the past, the present, and the future of IndyCar all on P1. We're going to kick it off with the Indy Open Series at 8, followed immediately by the Onyx Racing League Lotus 79s at 9:05, and the IndyCar and the Indy Next Road Series at 10. Tuesday night, it'll be the flagship broadcast. That is the IndyCar Oval Fixed Series, and that's a big one, Sam. That's at Indianapolis this weekend. It will be immediately followed by the Indy Next Series from Nashville. That's at 9:30. Wednesday, you've got the Formula Indy Series live at 8 o'clock. On Thursday, I believe we are we off, Sam, next Thursday? We are not.
Well,
we are not.
No, I don't think we have any more time off.
No.
I don't think we have any more time off until the end of the season from this point on.
So next Thursday night, 8:20, we'll be right back here for the final race, the round of 8. And if you thought this was nuts, Sam, that one's at Martinsville. So don't hesitate.
Oh, yeah, we're going from the greatest, the longest oval on the circuit to the shortest oval on the circuit. it is going to bring its own level of excitement.
It most certainly will. We do want to thank Whiplash SimCams for the camera work. If you are an iRacing photographer, head on over to Whiplash SimCams. Get yourself access to these incredible shots. We want to thank the drivers, the competitors, big audience tonight, great fan interaction. We want to thank Mike Rigney and his mother especially for making us hungry. Now we all want cookies.
Yes, we want cookies.
Cookie. But we also want to thank the people who really make it possible. The police, the fire, the EMTs who drive, the policemen, the firemen, the EMTs that drive the ambulance, and Sam, the nurse that unloads you when you get to the hospital.
Oh, we appreciate you.
For all the first responders, we thank you for all you do, and we will see you tomorrow night.
See ya.